going live. Live we are. It did not play my thing either, so I was looking like a jackass. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Right? Good morning. Good morning to you. I woke up this morning and didn't know what day it was. That happens a lot. And I woke up and I was watching Coffee with KJ, and I was like, oh, today's the court hearing. So then I went and got dressed. Well, I took a shower and just finished getting dressed. And so here we are. I have the hardest time with Arizona time, even though they don't change. We do, and we just did. And so, yeah, we're here. Glad you're here. Good morning. Good morning to you. So Trace is there, and I'm kind of going back, and I mean, she's letting everybody know in the chat, and she has been, that, what's going on at the courthouse. So that's really cool that we have her there. Ooh, let's see. I'm kind of going back in our chat. Oh. So that we can all be on par. Up to par. I'm just seeing where Beach Bum says Beach Bum cracks me up, y'all. Beach Bum said, oh, where'd he go? Where'd he go? It was funny. I didn't do nothing. Let's see. Where'd it go? Okay, here it is. She said, y'all, a valid point. She says Jesus visits her. Subpoena him. We all want to see that. Right? Would he come in like a, anyways. And so while a trial has not been set in the Brandon Boudreaux case, the judge did say the trial will proceed soon after Charles's murder trial, assuming Vallow Daybell is, quote, prepared to proceed with back-to-back trials, unquote. So that was sent from Beach Bum. Donna Donald sent court papers with, let's see, the defense notices the following defenses. So let's see, let me try and get here. State of Arizona versus Lori Daybell, defendant supplemental rule 15.2, notice of defenses and disclosure. The defendant submits the following supplemental disclosure pursuant to Arizona criminal whatever. Number one, the defense notices the following defenses. A, insufficiency of state's evidence. B, self-defense. C, defense of others. D, third party at fault. E, mere presence. Whatever the hell, I don't know any of these terms. That one for sure. F is procedural. The defense notices the following witnesses. All right. I'm going to finish my cigarette. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is at an angle. So any and all individuals, including but not limited to victim assistance case workers and or volunteers who have spoken with any witness in this case. Sounds like a very Mark Means, very vague, very wide umbrella there. See all witnesses listed in the state's Rule 15.1 disclosure, as well as in any supplemental witness disclosure filings. D, the custodian of records for any and all exhibits. E, Nate Eaton. F, Visaya Itawahu. I think that's how you say her last name. G, Gabriel Bonilla, right? Bishop Gabe. H, Joseph Pongratz. That is the owner of the home where Charles was shot. Ashlyn Rind. That's Tylee's friend. Barry Cox. Oh, Barry Cox, huh? Zachary Cox. Adam Cox. Janice Cox. Summer Shislet. Shislet. With a S. Whatever. Brandon Boudreaux. Why? That's wrong, man. You should. That'd be like putting Tylee in. If you know what I'm saying, like you shouldn't be able to put your victims on a freaking defense list. Where's her damn niece? The defense notices the following documents, photographs, and objects that the defense intends to use at trial. Any item that's disclosed by the state. B, insufficiency of state's evidence. Let's see. That's the end of that one. I don't see any more. That's a tall ass building. First off. Okay, so Trace said the technical staff are out here doing all these sound and equipment checks. Talking about her representing herself. Talking about Lori representing herself. The one is laughing. Yeah, she's been to law school. She's said that they were chatting with Justin and Nate. Nate says no subpoena yet. They came together. Oh, okay. And Lauren is there. And let's see. Everyone. Beach Bum says everyone knows this is a shite show. Yeah. I think, okay. We were asked to move from behind Lori. Right? Why? Why? Nothing to hide, huh? Can't be behind your highness, you know? She's such a highness. For sure. Let's see. So no court TV personnel, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's okay, I shouldn't even said that. In case somebody comes to support her, right? Like her shish and her mummy. Yeah. Let's see. Lori's attorney is here looking all put out. Little Brand said, I bet she's a real peach to work with. No, it's not started. It's only 8:18. Yes, the lady. So the lady, the one that represented Lori, the standby counsel now, I guess you could say. My hair is frizzy. Get that. Okay. Okay. I'm caught up. Justin Lum said court TV lawyers are present. Okay, so there's that on that part. And then, yeah, so Arizona is on Pacific time now. So that helps. We just changed time. So it's stupid. I hate time change. It's so dumb. And then Joe Schmo says he's going to the hearing with Trace, but should be home in plenty of time. What is today? Wednesday or Tuesday? That's where I'm like, Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. And all right, so I have. Let me text that back. Yes. Okay, let me jump out of my phone. Hi, right? Hi. How's everybody doing? Right. I pulled up Justin Lum's tweets. Tweet. Let's see. I don't know if there's anything on here, but we are there. And I'm just kind of looking around. Lori, okay, here we go. Okay.
Hey,
Let me
Krisha.
find. Yeah.
I've been putting Nate's and Justin's tweets in the
Chat.
chat. I sure have. But I mean, go ahead with it because if you read it all at once, it'll make more sense. Go ahead.
Okay. There you go. That's one way, huh? Let me see. Let me read. Uh, Going up in the chat or back in the chat so I can find the beginning of where Donna was putting that in. There's KJ saying her ponytail must be a handlebar for a. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that. If you were here, then you saw it. um, Matt Kelly. Wait. Whoa. 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 Trying to catch the beginning of these. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. Okay. Still going back. Here we
Hey,
go.
Krisha.
Yeah.
I'm not to boss you or anything, but it might be
Yeah. You
easier just to read it over Twitter, off of Twitter, than to hunt for my techie things.
are. Actually, I mean, I wish I could just pull all the ones that you wrote, and just how it does the starred comments and stuff. That would be
Oh, I hadn't thought of
ideal,
that.
but it doesn't do that. I don't know if it does. I don't know how to do it. But yeah, I mean, maybe I've already gone this far. Um, Trace, says that there may be 20 people here. Now, of course, this was at 10:27. I don't recognize anyone else. I think one is Lori's investigator, Jeff White. I remember that name because the last name is White, and my family, uh, I have family that's their last names. So, um, anyways, remember Lori's angels that kissed her on the cheek, um, in the temple, was Natalie White, which was my family. Anyways, she needs to go get her own damn family of angels, okay, and stop making mine turn into angels, okay? That's where I'm at. How about that? Anyways, if anybody wanted to know how I felt about that. So exciting having Trace on the case. And KJ wanted to know, Trace, tell us what the hooker looks like today, please. Okay. And so Trace said, I will. She's not in here yet. So I'm still going through my comments here. And then Janelle wanted to know, is Lori wearing her unicorn ponytail? Okay. Okay. And so then Trace on the case is like, oh, I think Trina K is actually here. And so that's the prosecutor. All right. Donna says Daybell is representing herself with advisory attorneys Pamela Hicks. Okay. So that's the lady attorney, and Robert Abernathy. Trina Kay is prosecuting the case for Maricopa County. Judge Justin Bareski presides per Nadine tweet. And then I don't either. I don't either. It's such because her attorneys before she became her own attorney, they were like, hey, um, you know, wanting to ban cameras completely, and then this is kind of a comfortable medium, I guess. And so it's been like this pre-trial. So we don't know. We'll find out today what how we'll proceed with this going forward as far as cameras for sure. Hopefully it won't be like this. I mean, hopefully everybody will be able to live stream it because it's inevitable in my opinion. Like I believe that they're not going to be able to kick cameras completely out. That's just me though. Arizona seems way more laxed in this area versus Idaho. Like comparing the two of them together, it's like Idaho's all like, especially with like Brian Koberger and all that going on, they just seem like uh, paranoid is for lack of better term there, but that's just me. It just seems like they're more paranoid versus Arizona, and they're just like, whatever, pick a number. She's nothing special in Arizona, is what I'm saying. Whereas in Idaho, it seems like red carpet was laid out for her everywhere. You know, you had a whole damn news outlet that was dedicated to just covering her case and Chad's. Whereas over here, Justin, he runs a whole beat, like he has to report on all the crime, all the stories. And Nate Eaton, they were just like designated just for, covering the Daybell case, in my opinion. Okay, let's see. Prosecutor Trina Kay is here. She does not object to cameras, but is against the live stream. What? Why? You know? That sucks. Oh, she does not object to cameras, but she's against the live stream. Live stream that shit. It's just, it is what it is. Cameras are like, I think that everybody just needs to get used to this. OJ Simpson, his trial was streamed, or it was, I don't know if it was live. I don't remember. I was 14 years old. But like, I mean, if he can get a fair trial, and if this lady that's right there on the screen, if she can go and do a big old Dateline, whatever the hell that was, just weeks before her trial, screw her. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't talk out of both sides of your mouth, although she does talk out of one side. Sorry. She definitely does. But whatever, it is what it is. Yeah, thank you for the tweets, Donna. And Trey says Kay is online. So you can, how they join the like my mom and Brandon, they'll like join the court hearing and they'll have like a little bubble, because they're like calling in or something. So that's what that means. Beach Bum says, no, we want live stream. Right, we do. We do. I do. Trey says Brandon is online. Okay. Trevor wants to know, we love you, Kay. So, and then Fancy Nancy, yeah, Brandon. Kay is the best. K Tech. Let's get started in here. All right. Trey says Hussey is here, looked right at me, smiling like, who are you? Judge Boreski is there. Here comes Lori Vallow Daybell walking into the courtroom. She is smiling, holding her files, and has her hair up in a ponytail. Like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. She is a cheerleader for sure, through and through, I do believe. Because she, talk about if people weren't interested before, that Dateline thing came out, and then now they're like, what? Yeah, I mean, it worked. Let's just say that it worked. Interesting. Beach Bum reminds us, justice for Charles, justice for Brandon. Yeah, I won't say it, but I'll put that there. So, Court TV wants to be the poll camera for the trial and live stream the proceedings. I'm with them. We will. Oh, whoa. Vallow Daybell objects. We will hear arguments today. What is she wearing? Well, today she's wearing Chanel. No, she's wearing an orange damn jumpsuit like she needs to. No, I don't know. I don't know. I guess whenever they start doing jury selection, they will put her in regular clothes or allow her to wear regular clothes. Judge talking, saying multiple media requests. I'm sorry. Just through your eyes. Tell Lori she's a lump of for me. Okay. Just tell her with your eyes. All right. Oh my God. Sorry that I got a chuckle out of that. Maybe a little too much. Court TV rep is there. Janelle. Oh, wait. Whoa. Let me not read things out loud automatically. Court TV is asking to be the poll camera. And then Beach Bum says, yeah, read all of our collective thoughts, Hussey. Yeah. Okay. Trace, you're rocking this. Thank you, Trace, for sure. Court TV wants to use their equipment. Okay. Again, good morning to everybody coming in. Matt Kelly now gets to speak to the judge about the pool camera situation. Who is Matt Kelly? Is that for Court TV? Of course, this is what we have until the actual video comes out. KJ, I did not see this. And so thank you. Even yeah, it says thank you, Trace on the case, but it's $99.99 super chat. Thank you so very much. I can't pin it. Okay, so Court TV wants to use 2 cameras for the trial, and they can operate remotely. Cool. They can operate stuff remotely. I can't even do it right here in person. That's why they make the big bucks. And so Donna says, I'm retweeting Nate and Justin, and we're reading them here. Lori is stating she objects to media coverage. Now, that's very contradictory, don't you think? I mean, I'd say that's very contradictory because your ass was just on Dateline Friday, March 7th, this month. Can't have it both ways, sister. That just encapsulates more Lori, in my opinion. She wants it all, but both ways, you know. She wants to be a murderer and not identify as a murderer. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't want you to view her as a murderer. Daybell says she wants to add case law to her objection that Court TV should not be allowed to have a camera. Well, then do it. Damn. She is reading from a case and says cameras would deprive her to a fair process. No. How? We don't get to decide her fate as public. Okay. But it seems to be a lot of people like Daybell and other murderers. They don't want to be viewed by the public opinion that they are in fact murderers. Okay. That's just my take. And it's very fascinating to like witness, you know, you're like, I mean, even Stephen Stearns in his upcoming murder trial for Maddie Soto, he don't want to be, he don't want people to say, or anybody inside the courtroom to identify him as a murderer. You can say homicide. I'm like, what the hell, narcissist? You know, you can't have, what? It doesn't make sense. Beach Bum says, Joe Schmo is with Trace in the courtroom. Give him a follow. Here's his link to his channel. And we appreciate him there as well. No coverage during jury selection. What does that mean? And then Trace says, 1 camera will be allowed. We'll take it. Judge wants a minute or 2 delay. Why? I mean, what does that do? I'm just still trying to like, what? Lori, okay. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. Lori cited media saturation preventing her from a fair trial. Dateline, you hussy. You can't have it both ways, sister. Hey, Gene P. Good to see you. Always. Okay, per Nate Bresky says he will allow 1 pool camera, but not during jury selection. He will issue an order later today with more details. So we won't know that even whenever the court hearing comes out and we can actually watch it. So just know that, okay? I'm going to start this comment so I don't forget myself. Okay. And then it goes on to say, Trace says, Lori complaining the camera in the past has been zoomed in on her face the whole time. It's the gift that keeps on giving, right? You're not late, girl. Just on time. All right. Bareski asked if there can be A 1 to 2 minute delay. Kelly says yes, but sharing it with the pool cannot be delayed. Boreski's order would need to specify the delay. Okay. Boreski asked some questions about how the footage would be distributed. Very carefully, I'd say. And then per Nate, Donna's retweeting. Per Nate, Daybell says she does not want papers on her table shown, and she does not want her face zoomed in on. Turn your papers over, okay? That whomever is speaking needs to be shown. Boreski says his order already says that. Dumbass. Anyways. And they won't be allowed to show any jurors, right? That's... Anyways. Trey says, judge asking about victim witnesses and restraining orders, right? I'm going to echo what Treva says here. Oh, but she didn't mind the camera in her face on Dateline. Boy, she gave us content forever. We have so much new content now with the new Dateline that she saturated the media with herself. Trina mentioned Kay. State is not seeking any protective order when a victim testifies. Trina Kay says Kay Woodcock is a statutory legal victim and will be testifying in this trial. Beach Bum says, I caught that typo and no, Loho can't hire me. What? So KJ says 1 stationary camera on 2-minute delay. Kay Woodcock will be a designated victim representative testifying in this trial per the state. Thank y'all for. State says 6-week trial estimation. Y'all, every April for the last 3 years, Daybell and or her husband have saturated my life with their trials. Okay? For the last 3 years. This is number 3. Some bullshit. Just saying. All right. Beach Bum says, Trace, how does she sound in court? Whiny voice, or is she testifying? We just want to know. Boreski asked if the parties are ready for trial on March 31st. Daybell says yes. Judge asked how long the case might take. Trina Kay says jury should be screened for 6 weeks, and her case should take about 2 to 3. Oh my God. That just tells me the other half is Lori horror. Right? Whew. Let me mute. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. Okay, so jury selection will be in the South Tower. Little Brand says, I'm rebranding. Laugh out loud. Yes, you are. Okay. Oh my God. The trial is going to be in this tiny courtroom. What? That's terrible. I mean, for real. It's very uncomfortable. And Janelle reminds us that she doesn't want bad vibes being shot at her from behind. Laugh out loud. Sorry. That's why no one can sit behind her. Right? 6-week jury process. What the hell? Okay, Donna says, per Justin, both parties confirmed they are ready to begin trial on 3/31. Prosecution says the case will take 2 to 3 weeks, but her experience with defendants going pro per proceedings take longer. Because that's what we're here for, right? And yes, I think we need to be sponsored by BC Powder. Okay, can you tell them? Oh my gosh. And you get a BC powder. You get a BC powder. Everybody gets a BC powder because you're going to need it. Just saying. Per Justin, now the judge is discussing jury selection process in the South Court Tower, which has more space. Oh, the other day I noticed that my microphone, like when I went and re-listened to or went and listened to my whatever live stream afterwards, and it was going in and out. So it sounded like I was swinging around the dang microphone. So I meant to ask Little Brand's her husband. I want to say is a sound engineer. Let me know, and then let me know if I can fix it or how I can fix it if I am still doing it. Please, thanks. Sorry. So Trace says, damn, trial in this tiny room. Beach Bum says, Trace on the case. No way. There's got to be one use Arias's room, right? Jodi Arias, remember her? Another woman that was convicted of murder. Anyways, Trina K wants to make sure potential public media. Oh, wait, whoa. I skipped a sentence. Trina K wants to make sure potential jurors are secured somewhere away from public/media. There are about 6 rooms to use per Bereski. Back at you, babe. Okay. I don't know. Has anybody seen Colby's name as being called? I haven't, so maybe not. I don't know. I don't know for sure, but I have not seen his name yet. Of course, I don't know how all that goes, but um okay, and then what I don't get is why they're calling Nate, right? I don't know. So Trey says it's going to be in this room, maybe 30 chairs total. So there you go. Thank you, Trace. They're talking about, of course, this was at 10:44, where it's 11:05 a.m. right here, Central Time. So I'm still behind, trying to catch up. Talking about jury selection now. Um, of course, okay, I don't know who him is, but let me see. Wit girl. What I don't get is why they're calling Nate. Okay, and then this is in response to that. Added Lori added him to her witness list and all their records. It's crazy. All right, Donna says 200 jurors will get an e-questionnaire. Both parties will get to see a draft by end of this week. Those jurors will get the questionnaires on 324 through 327. Thank you. Yeah, let's give the video a like. Thank you. So Whit Girl, so 6 weeks jury selection means the trial won't actually start until first or second week of May. I hope not. Right? I know it is kind of confusing, huh? I'm sure that's not how it's going to go, but I hope not. So can you imagine a 6-week jury selection? Crazy. So Donna says by morning of 3/31, the court can go through who needs to be withdrawn from the pool. Whoever is not let go can return on April 1st. Okay. Okay, so Trey says they're gonna be seeing approximately 100 to 200 jurors each day. Y'all, I did not even know. Like, we covered jury selection in Chad Daybell's trial live here, and I thought it was just gonna be this very boring, just blah 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 experience, but I really did enjoy that. Not just, it allowed us to kind of work out a lot of the kinks and everything, live streaming that stuff, but it was very interesting just to the way they did it in Idaho. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. It's my little 2 cents. Okay, in-person voir dire will begin on April 1st, which is April Fool's Day, right? On April 2nd, another 200 jurors will be questioned, and if necessary, more will be questioned on April 3rd. There will be 12 jurors with 4 to 5 alternates. Thank you. Okay. He says they will lose lots when asking about prior media coverage. lots of potential jurors, I guess. Yeah, I'm thinking. She's got a paralegal too. Wonder who can't spell. What is that? Is that the hearing, Donna? I'm gonna push it. I'm pushing it. I'm opening a new tab just to see. It is! Yay! Is this live? What the hell? Oh shit! It's not showing. Okay.
The
Crap.
defendant
Let me go
is
back over there.
entitled to fair and impartial trial.
You hear her, James?
Court, Mr. Justice Clark held that failure of the state judge in murder prosecution to protect defendant from inherently prejudicial publicity, which saturated the community to control disruptive influences in courtroom, deprived the defendant of a fair trial consistent with due process. So that and Arizona versus Cheney, which was the defendant is entitled to fair and impartial trial when publicity pervades court proceedings to the extent that the proceedings were prejudiced to the defendant. So obviously you read my objection, so I just wanted to add those on the record.
Okay.
Thank you.
Your prior attorneys had filed a series of objections to media coverage media being allowed in the courtroom, and I made a prior ruling that was filed back September 4th, which was fairly comprehensive. I am inclined to allow one pool camera. I'll issue an order with more detailed findings later today or tomorrow. But essentially, there won't be any media coverage during the jury selection process, and I'll put the reasons for that in the order. So that's, again, I'll issue a more detailed order later today or tomorrow. All right.
Your Honor, there's also the issue of whether Court TV will be allowed to live stream the trial. In other words, broadcast online in real time. Court TV would prefer to do that.
Are you able to, are they able to do a 1 or 2 minute delay?
Certainly, we can certainly do that. I just want to inform Your Honor, however, that when we share the footage with the pool, we can't delay that footage. So your order would need to require that all media receiving the feed delay it by however long you wish to delay it.
And the camera, the pool camera would be simultaneously distributing that feed to whatever media requests it?
That's correct. We have the capability to distribute to up to 30 or 40 different media outlets. So we have plenty of bandwidth to do so.
It's prejudicial.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Let's get down to business on some of the.
Your Honor?
Yeah.
Could I just add that we want to make sure that the camera's not going to be zooming in at any level to get to our notes and the things that are going to be on the table. I also previously, what has happened before is that they just have the camera on my face the entire trial. So I think when the judge is speaking, the judge needs to be on the camera. When the state is speaking, they need to be on camera. If we can add that to the order, I think.
All right. Well, my draft already includes that there'll be no zooming in on counsel table, anything on counsel table, or anything being handled, notes or that sort of thing being handled by any of the parties or the attorneys. As far as what they focus on, they'll be limited to focusing on the parties, myself, the witness, depending on the witness. I need to ask the state about that in a second, but they won't be allowed to broadcast any image of any juror. While I'm on that subject, let me ask the state, are you seeking any sort of protective order when a named victim testifies?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Will you let me know if that changes?
Yes, I will.
Do you have who do you have the names of your designated victim or victim representatives that might be testifying?
Kay Woodcock is a statutory legal victim and will be testifying.
Is that the only one?
At this time, yes.
Okay,
For this trial, I should say.
for this trial. Okay. Let me ask this, are the parties ready to proceed around March 31st or April 1st?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, let me ask the state next. Earlier during these proceedings and past hearings, you indicated you thought the state's case in chief would take 2 weeks. You requested yesterday to screen for 6 weeks.
Your Honor, I did say 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay,
But I did say that while we had a defense attorney on and not Ms. Vallow herself. I am familiar with other pro per trials where generally the timelines are in excess of those with a defense attorney assigned. So in order to ensure that we aren't asking a jury later to stay longer than we pre-screen them, I believe it would be appropriate to screen them for 6 weeks.
So now that you're gearing up for trial and maybe you have a better idea, how long do you think your case in chief would take with a normal amount across? I know that's hard to estimate.
And again, I would say 2 to 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
That would be at the outset of it.
Okay.
Probably, yeah, 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay. Let me ask advisory council, if we do an questionnaire, would you be assisting Ms. Daybell with your laptop in going through the answers that are received?
Yes, Your Honor. I mean, assuming we do all of that, because a lot of times the courts send us back to our office to go through that. So if we do that here, then yes, of course, she's welcome to use our laptops.
Right. My plan is we can do jury selection in the South Court Tower 5C. I know that the state has requested that the entire trial be held there. We can't do it. We can do jury selection there. I can give you rooms here for your victims and witnesses as need be that are outside this courtroom that we'll have. We can have them stream in if you want, depending on, I guess, who the witness is or who's back there.
And obviously, Your Honor, I don't know if the public will be attending this or not. This also is a little different in that even in the mornings, the jury is going to be potentially out here while the court is having morning calendar. If there's media out there as well, I'm just trying to protect the integrity of the trial by ensuring that the public, the media are not interacting with witnesses at any time while they're out there. It's difficult when it's a very small hallway and very limited rooms just to put them in. Obviously, I need a room for the victims that's separate from any witnesses.
Well, we have on this floor 6 rooms, 5 or 6 rooms throughout. We have 3 right behind this courtroom, and we can utilize them as need be to ensure that there's no improper contact between media or the public in general and any victims or witnesses. We can also ensure that the jurors don't have contact. If that means we bring them up in a separate elevator and have them assemble somewhere else, we can accomplish that. So my plan will be to do an questionnaire, remote questionnaire for the first 200 jurors. That questionnaire, I need to get a final joint pretrial statement with the list of witnesses to include the names of witnesses in that, but I'd like to send out a draft to everyone by the end of this week. Let me bring up my calendar. We would probably send that out to the first 200 jurors around next Thursday, March 20th. Yeah.
Because of the way they send this, the first day they can send it out to 24th.
Oh, I guess they can't send it out.
So we can do from the 24th to the morning 27th.
Okay, so we can send out that the 24th to the 27th, meaning it would be cut off on the 27th. The answers to those questionnaires would be emailed to the parties. That would give the parties the 28th, 29th, 30th, and 31st to go through those answers. We would meet on the morning of the 1st, discuss who needs to be let go based on those answers. Also on the morning of the 1st, a number of walk-in jurors that for whatever reason don't fill out the questionnaire in advance would come in to the jury room, the jury assembly room that morning and fill out the questionnaire. So that morning we'd also deal with those walk-in answers as best we can. Oh, that's right. I back up. The initial answers for the remote, we're going to meet on the 31st. Let those people go. Whoever we don't let go will be told to report on the afternoon of the 1st. On the afternoon of the 1st, we'll be dealing with the walk-ins that come in the morning of the 1st. And the people that we haven't let go the afternoon of the 1st, that will be in person voir dire as needed. If we need to, which I anticipate we probably will, we'll do another 200 jurors on the 2nd. And if need be, we have another 100 jurors on the 3rd.
That next set of 200, that wouldn't be a remote question?
They don't
that'd be
have
regular.
a capability to do it remote. So we may have to, what'll happen is on the 1st, all those people, after they give their answers, will be randomized. The list will be re-randomized. As we proceed through the 2nd, those people get added onto the bottom of the list. So as soon as we get 12 jurors that qualify, that everyone's happy with, that don't have issues, plus probably 3 or 4 alternates. So as soon as we get to about 15 or 16, we're pretty much done with jury selection. So we don't have to necessarily question all 200 of those people. We can do panels of 20 or something like that. I anticipate losing quite a large number of people just based on prior media coverage and people already having some sort of opinion about the case. I normally wouldn't include a defendant's name in the e-questionnaire that goes out remotely, but on this case, I'm inclined to, just because that's what we want to know. We want to know if people have heard about the defendant and whether or not they've heard about, or if they've formed an opinion about her or this case prior to that. Does anyone have an issue with that, State?
No, Your Honor, I think that that's a good idea. That's going to be at least one of the initial reasons to strike a lot of jurors.
My only issue with it, Your Honor, is that it could be bad both ways, right? If you put the name in there, if you don't put the name in there. It's been my experience that people will say they haven't heard when they know who that really is. And there's people that will want to be on this jury just for this purpose.
Well,
It's going to be complicated.
all the research indicates that these e-questionnaires, people are more likely to give honest, candid answers than if they're in a group of people and they feel sort of that peer pressure of what's a good answer and what's a bad answer. Your name is going to come up sooner or later, so I would prefer to just get it out in front of the potential jurors to begin with. My e-questionnaire is going to be fairly basic. It's going to focus on qualifications, the charges, the witnesses, and then obviously whether they have an opinion about you or this case. For the people that make it past that level, we'll question them more thoroughly in person.
And like you were saying, as far as group kind of voir dire, in my experience, we went through 1,900 jurors in my last trial. So it would be good to do individual voir dire if we can, than group voir dire, because they learn things just in the voir dire and it disqualifies a lot of jurors.
I'm not opposed to that, but that's going to be sort of a day of play it by ear sort of situation, whether we
Sure.
do small panels or just go a single person. If we go single person, our jury selection could extend into the next week. But if we're able to seat a jury, I would expect opening statements on April 7th, somewhere around there. Does the state indicated, I have it, there was just one day in April that you wanted to go a half day?
Correct, Your Honor. The 24th.
All right. When can you file some sort of pretrial statement that sets forth all your potential witnesses and a statement of the facts?
Probably by Thursday.
All right.
Work.
Does the state anticipate any presentation of autopsy photos or crime scene photos? In other words, I'm trying to gauge, I would usually put in a question about jurors may be required to view evidence that shows wounds or that sort of thing. Is there anyone that's unwilling to look at this type of evidence?
Yes, Your Honor. We will have both, obviously, with self-defense trajectory, and those injuries are very relevant.
Okay, so I will include a question about that type of evidence. Sometimes jurors don't want to look at that type of evidence, so. All right, any questions or concerns about our jury selection, the proposed trial dates from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Just so I have it clear, Your Honor, we're going to start on the 31st with jury selection. Is that
We'll
correct?
be meeting on the 31st,
Okay.
and then actual dealing with in-person jurors on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd.
Okay.
Let me ask advisory council, are there any dates that advisory council would need to be dark?
I am fine for April. I didn't hear back from Robert. I would think. he'll
Please
be
let
fine
us
for-
know, because in that e-questionnaire, I'm going to put in a proposed schedule. I don't know that I'm going to screen for a full 6 weeks based on the state's anticipated presentation, maybe 5 weeks. So into let us know the schedule into the first week or two of May.
As soon as I get an answer from him, I'll email your judicial assistant.
All right.
And one more time, Your Honor, so the remote question is going out on March 24th. All answers have to be back by the 27th, so we will get them on the 27th, or
You'll either get them late the 27th or first thing the 28th.
Okay.
In the morning, late in the morning, on the 27th.
Oh, okay.
okay.
So I'll put
You should get them some point on the 27th.
Just so we can plan, because it sounds like we'll just go out to Estrella and go through these.
Yeah, they're closing it at like 8 AM on the 27th.
You'll have to have a internet connection.
Yeah,
Out
we
there,
can use
okay.
our laptops out there.
Okay.
Because you want to be ready to discuss everything on March 31st.
Yeah, and
That's
if the parties have an obvious, there's some jurors that are going to be obvious that need to be let go. If you're ready for that, that's always helpful. I know it's a little bit more difficult with pro per defendant in consulting like that. All right, let me get to,
So we'll come out on Friday. And go through the questionnaire. We don't get any questions on that.
all right, the defendant had filed 2 separate motions for specific discovery. The first dealt with communication between the assigned deputy county attorney and law enforcement agencies. I've read the And the second one was, well, let's deal with the first one. I've read the response from the state. Basically, your response is you have disclosed all those communications. There are no other communications.
Correct, Your Honor.
All right. So let me ask the defendant.
Yeah, we received 6 email communications, and they were in a short time frame, not the full time frame. And it seems to me that in the last email ends in kind of a question that was probably answered, and then there's like no more communication. So it doesn't make sense that there's no more. We asked for all of them if they could be provided to us. We don't understand why they're not being provided to us, and what the state is possibly hiding at this point, and they can't just turn it over so that we can go through them. It's been, long over a month since we filed that motion. So we would just like them to please turn over whatever they have left.
All right. And I'll ask the deputy county attorney. I imagine some communications are by phone. So in other words, we're not captured.
Correct, Your Honor.
All right. Based on the state's avowal, I don't know, I can't tell them to turn over something they say they don't have, so. I'll find that the state, based on their avowal, and officers of the court have complied with the request. The second one is a little more, I wanted to get clarification on. That was defendant's request for video interviews, but it seemed like based on the state's response that there was some confusion about what was a interview recorded in an interrogation room situation versus a body cam. Did the state's response provide clarification to you?
No. So the body cams were turned over, and they're in like 12-minute increments. There's like 4 different body cams. This was a full 2-hour video that was released by Gilbert Police to the public, and it's online. So I would like that video of the interrogation room, the full 2-hour one, to be turned over to the defense.
All right, so do you know what that is?
Your Honor, based upon the defendant's reply, she's requesting a video interview from the 31st. Those are on body cam and were turned over to the defense. We have requested everything from, I think that one was from actually the Gilbert Police Department. A lot of these overlap. So I am not sure what the defendant is.
Who was the person being interviewed? And you said the 2-hour interrogation that Gilbert released.
So it's myself and my daughter, Tylee Ryan, and Melanie Gibb.
And is that in an interrogation type room?
Yeah, it was at the Gilbert Police Station, and I didn't realize we were being filmed that whole time. I didn't know we were being filmed, but we were being filmed in that room.
And are you familiar with a video in a room?
Yes, that's what we have disclosed. Is an interview of, it is
And you're saying you don't have it?
defendant, her daughter, and another.
And you're saying you haven't gotten that?
They have given 4 about 12-minute body cam videos of the policemen's body cams that were in the room with us, and they go in and out of the room at different times. So there's different body cams. They're all mixed up. It's not the full entire one. And the full entire, my understanding is that the full entire 2-hour interrogation room video from the ceiling is available online, but I don't have it in Discovery.
That's what I'm trying to clarify. So did the state disclose not a body cam, but an interrogation from up in the corner of a room vantage point?
I mean, we disclosed a lot. Let me see if I can find out. We did. Yes, my paralegal is present here as well, and she has advised that we did. Your Honor, we disclosed over.
Can your
Where is
paralegal
it?
provide a Bates number or something so that maybe the defense just has overlooked it?
Let me see if we can find the actual
Maybe the discovery notice.
discovery letter.
Okay.
Your Honor, all we do have is the 4 body cam. We can ask again and see if they have a overall.
Are you getting this? Have you seen this, or someone told you that there's this video?
My mitigator showed me part of that video. Yes, with my previous team. That's how I know about it. Otherwise, I wouldn't know about it. And she said, "Do you know this is online?" I didn't have any idea.
And you're sure it's the Gilbert PD on that date?
Correct.
All right, I'll ask the state to follow up with Gilbert on that.
We will, Your Honor.
There, if that is out there, obviously it should have been disclosed.
Mhm.
All right, remind me to follow up on that next time we are together. Next, I have a motion limine, 2 motions in limine, one regarding Alex Cox statements and one regarding Tylee Ryan's statements. All right, so let me ask the defendant. Generally, any hearsay is defined as any out of court statement offered for the truth of the matter asserted. The state is referencing what are definitely out of court statements. Obviously, there's some exceptions to the hearsay rule, and there are other things that are characterized as non-hearsay. So how do you think, let's first talk about Alex Cox. How do you think the statements fit into your, either one of those exceptions or non-hearsay?
I feel like the state is blanketing that whole thing, and obviously it's like a case by case basis, right, on these statements. So there is the police interview of Alex Cox that I do not think falls under hearsay.
Why not?
Why does it not fall under hearsay?
Yeah.
Because we're not using it for the truth of the matter asserted. We're using it in corroboration of the circumstances. Everyone came in and told their same story that corroborates different facts in there, not for the whole truth of the matter.
Aren't you arguing that what he said was true?
I can't say whether another person says that it's true or not, but I'm saying what he said and what my daughter said and what I said in those 3 police interviews determined what the police said, how the police acted, what they did after that, their next steps, how they treated the entire case like it was self-defense. All of those are relevant to the defense that it was self-defense. So yes, I think they're for that purpose. But I also think that Alex's statements also have a lot of the exceptions apply. 803, 804. There's a lot of exceptions that also apply to some of his statements and not all of his statements.
Such as what? Which statements do you think they apply to?
I specifically his statements made on body cam to police in the driveway, specifically his.
I don't know what the statements are, so that's what I'm asking. What specific statements do you think are allowed to come in under the rules of evidence?
I think under 8031, the present sense impression is his statements made to police officers at the house.
A present sense impression is where you're actually observing something and you're talking about it as you see it happen. So isn't he saying, again, I don't know what the statements are, but is he saying what happened prior? Or is he saying
Yes,
something
prior.
that he's, okay,
Correct,
so it's not a
prior.
present sense impression.
Okay.
What else?
Then I think it falls under 8032, excited utterance. He was under the stress of the whole situation when he made those statements.
What was his demeanor when he made those statements?
Upset.
What's the specific statement?
I shot my brother-in-law in self-defense. I got hit in the head with a bat. There was an altercation. I don't know what all the statements are, but
How long after the incident did he make these statements?
immediately after, as far as I know.
Well, immediately to some people means 2 seconds, to other people it means 30 minutes. Tell me what immediately means to you.
As soon as the police arrived.
I don't know did they arrive 30 minutes after the incident? 10 minutes, an hour?
I was not there. I do not know what time they arrived.
All right. So you're asserting excited utterance. Some of these statements come in. What else?
8033, the mental, emotional, and physical condition, because it shows his state of mind, which was scared at the time.
Any others?
Yes. 8035B, the recorded recollection. I know that in the state's reply to my response, they did not think that 805 applied because A, B, and C, but I did not see an and after A. So my assumption was that B and C, since there's an and after B, were what needed to be put together. So B was made or adopted by this witness when the matter was fresh in the witness's memory and accurately reflects the witness's knowledge. So I felt like 803B5B, the recorded recollection of his police interview and the body cam footage, applies under that exception.
All right. Generally, 8035 is a recorded recollection, meaning it's something they wrote down, or maybe they recorded their voice saying something. Let me ask the state to respond. We're just talking about the Alex Cox statements.
Your Honor,
Maybe I should start with,
Yeah.
does the state intend on introducing any statements from Alex Cox?
Your Honor, I haven't decided if we will at this point. I can say with 100% certainty, we will not be admitting his interview by police that was done at after 10 o'clock in the morning. We don't,
Are you referencing what time he was interviewed versus the time of the incident?
let me say it this way. So the state has laid out in its motion the timeline. So that is actually in our motion. We show that when
8:30 a.m.
is when the
roughly.
911 call was made. So we have soon after that, the police arrived and there's body cam video from that interview. Then Alex Cox is later brought to the police station and there is a in-depth interview with detectives at a little after 10 o'clock in the morning.
So you may or may not be attempting to introduce statements at or around the time that the police responded?
Correct, Your Honor. If we do, those would be brought in as co-conspirator statements against a party interest. So obviously the state can bring in statements that are hearsay against a party.
Right. But I guess, is the state intending on introducing any statements of Tylee?
No, Your Honor. Tylee made no statements at the scene other than giving her general biographical information on body cam. Her entire statements were made at the police station, again, after 10 in the morning.
All right. So on your response as it relates to Tylee, you say, again, present sense impression. I don't think it's a present sense impression. You also argue excited utterance. What else?
8033, which is mental, emotional, and physical condition, with the same thing, her state of mind, then being scared. And also 8043, statement against interest. They use that statement in the indictment where Tylee says that Charles says, if you hit me with that bat, you're going to jail. That's the part where she's nervous in her interview, saying she's scared to tell the police that she's the one that brought in the bat. So state of mind and the statement against interest both apply to Tylee's
All right.
police interview.
All right, anything else? Does the state want to be heard further on that?
Your Honor, the only further thing I think that the state will bring in is that obviously the defendant has been found guilty of killing both Tylee, other individuals, but in this case, the defendant cannot benefit from killing a witness and then later try to bring in their statements for their benefit. So in addition to none of her statements being admissible under the rules of evidence, as any of the exceptions that the defendant has done, we also believe that it would be improper for her to be allowed to bring them in under that theory.
In other words, there's been a judicial finding that the reason Tylee's unavailable as a witness is because of the defendant's actions.
Correct, Your Honor. There has been a jury trial and she has been convicted of that.
All right. All right, the court is on a preliminary basis precluding references to Tylee Ryan's statements, any statement made by Tylee Ryan. If there's some reason where a door might be open to any of those statements coming in, the defendant's requested to make a request outside the presence of the jury regarding that, and we'll deal with that outside the presence of the jury. On Alex Cox, I think that's probably going to be more of a statement by statement basis, but I'm skeptical of any statements coming in hours after the initial police response. I think we'll deal with what statements may or may not come in when the police first arrived on scene and or the 911 at the time that they're attempted to be introduced. All right, I also received yesterday state's notice of disclosure and request for disclosure. Did you get a copy of that?
No,
You haven't seen that yet?
no.
I'm sorry, the
State's notice of disclosure and request for disclosure. I didn't realize it was actually filed in January, so you should have seen that. I misspoke when I said I got it yesterday. It was filed January 16th. Have you seen that?
I'm looking it up.
What are we?
Dates
I
disclosure.
think that the court may have ruled on that one, Your Honor.
Well, I don't think I ruled on, at the very end, you're requesting, she submit to fingerprints, palm print, footprint.
Oh, that's, okay. I think that was fired, yes, significantly. So that would be to tie her to any of her.
Is that for other conviction purposes?
Correct, yes.
All right. And when did you want to do that?
What is that about?
If we are going to be here on the 18th, we can take them then.
I don't know that we need to be here on the 18th.
And obviously, I was unaware we were going to set this because we set it
Right.
just recently, so. I don't know if we can keep that on just to take that.
Okay, what about the state, you requested copies of any recorded statements made during interviews conducted outside of your presence? Is there any of those, were there any interviews conducted by you or your team? Of
So
any,
far?
were there any interviews conducted of any witnesses out by you or your team that you're aware of?
So far, not that I'm aware of.
All right. Do you plan on calling any experts to testify?
We do plan on calling one expert.
Who's that? Has it been disclosed to the state?
We are, yes, we're working on that today as an addendum to the
Who's that?
witness list that, Lonnie Dworkin.
All right. That's your investigator?
No, my investigator, Jeff White.
Oh.
That's the expert.
What kind of expert is Lonnie Dworkin?
Phone and digital.
I think I remember his name. Are you aware of that?
No, Your Honor.
All right, expert reports and disclosures are due 30 days before trial generally under the rules. So if you're planning on using that witness, you need to get that disclosed right away, and I may have to take that up depending on what the state's position is. But
Your
at this
Honor,
point,
that-
it's technically late.
May be another reason to be here on the 18th. Obviously, if that's disclosed this week, we can potentially address that issue on the 18th.
All right. Let me ask the defendant, do you have a position on the taking of prints and photographs? Generally, identification type things are permitted over any defendant objections. So do you have a record you want to make on that?
Not really.
All right, I don't see any
For
reason
what
why.
purpose? I don't understand.
In the event that you're convicted, it may be used to prove other convictions. That reminds me, is the state planning on proceeding in the second trial regardless of what happens in the first trial?
I believe so, yes, Your Honor.
And how much time would you need between the conclusion of the first trial and the start of the second trial?
Your Honor, I would say at least 30 days since we do need to actually subpoena out-of-state witnesses for the second trial.
I'm wondering if it wouldn't benefit everyone to go ahead and set that a provisional second trial date now.
That's fine, Your Honor.
May 11th is still my last day.
Is that second trial,
Right.
how long do you think it would take the state to
Probably
present?
about 3 weeks as well.
Similar?
I'm gonna- Your Honor, I'd like to remind the court that the last day is May 11th.
Well, I'll probably exclude some time based on the fact that you can't do two trials at once.
The state could combine the trials and do two trials at once, but they don't want to do two trials at once. So it really violates my speedy trial rights if they do not give me a speedy trial by May 11th for both cases. Not to mention that they did combine all the discovery into one case. They didn't give me two different separate discoveries for two different cases, which would be much more convenient considering the voluminous amount of discovery that they piled onto us.
Does the state want to do combine both cases?
Your Honor, if the court gave us a little time to work it out and the defendant wants to join them, I mean, obviously,
I don't know that.
the normal defense attorney, and I don't mean that in any way, normally they would be
Derogatory?
severed.
Severed because you
Due
don't
to-
want one jury to know about the other
Correct.
two separate charges and have a harmful rub-off effect of the evidence in one case affecting the evidence in another case.
Correct, Your Honor. That's why they were filed separately. But if the defendant wants them together, the state would have to request this be pushed back slightly so that we could then get all the witnesses for that trial together, since they were not subpoenaed for this trial. But if that's what the defendant wants to join them, and she understands that prejudice and that she's then going to be waiving that prejudice with that, then the state is certainly willing to do that. But we would then have to request to have that trial or this trial date moved back to allow us to get the other witnesses lined up.
that was not, yeah, that's not what I was saying, it's to combine them. I'm just saying, give me my second trial by May 11th. So
Right.
the court can figure that out.
All right, well, I'm going to waive some time on that second trial over the defendant's objection. Primarily, again, the defendant can't try both cases at the same time. Secondly, I'm not sure how much actual prejudice there is with a time violation, in the sense that you wouldn't be released from custody anyway. And thirdly, the rule for time violations under Rule 8, I think it's 8.6, is that any violation should be a dismissal without prejudice unless there's an actual prejudice shown, in which case the state could just refile the charge. Regardless, I think some time is warranted to be excluded because primarily you can't try two cases at once. What if we set a start date for May 12th? I realize that's could potentially be a quick turnaround, but again, I don't think this case is going to take 6 weeks.
Your Honor,
We can adjust that as necessary.
I, again, am going to ask for a longer time. I believe this will go through the beginning of May, and to have the state try to get those witnesses lined up and subpoenaed while in trial, I don't believe is.
Well, if I push it out any further, the parties need to be aware that I won't be trying the case. I don't think I would be anyway. I'm rotating at the end of June. And given some of the trainings I have to attend in June, I don't think we could get it done.
Well, both parties could send out subpoenas now for that second date for May 12th, correct?
Well, that's assuming we're done by about May 1st, probably, in this case, the first case.
And then, Your Honor, I did indicate that the state needs to be dark in May, the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd.
You said 21, 22, 23.
Correct.
Of May.
And I would need to be dark the 19th, 20th, and 21st as well, so.
So given that we would be dark that entire week anyways, it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to.
All right, sorry to interrupt. Let me speak with the criminal presiding judge about scheduling the second trial. We can discuss it on the 18th. Let's keep the 18th, but let's move it to later in the morning. Actually, let's move it up. All we're going to do is discuss a couple matters, and then there's no reason for the fingerprinting and stuff to be broadcast or on video, so I'll prohibit that from being recorded or otherwise broadcast. So have your person here. Let's do that at 8:15 a.m. on March 18th. And then we'll also discuss whether the defense is disclosing Lonnie Dworkin as a witness and whether or not he has a expert report prepared and disclosed at that time. I will have the questionnaire for you by then, so you can review it. Anything else we need to discuss that I've forgotten about from the state's perspective?
Your Honor, I showed two other motions that the defense filed that I did not see rulings on by the court. They were both motions to dismiss. One of them only related to the 2022 case, I think. No, I'm sorry. Both of them related to both.
What's the filing date?
January 14th, for one of them, was an 8.2 speedy trial one. And February 4th, which was an extradition rule 8.3.
February 4th. Okay, so the motion to dismiss CR 2022-001242 for lack of speedy trial, I ruled on January 24th.
Okay.
That minute entry was filed January 24th, and then the motion, was that the motion to dismiss CR 2021 and 001704 and the other for violation of Speedy Trial Act?
Correct. That
That
was,
was ruled on February 25th, so last week.
Okay.
A week ago. Anything else from the state?
no, Your Honor.
Anything else from the defendant?
Yes, Your Honor. I have one kind of housekeeping matter that I wanted to ask you about. I know that MCSO has some security restraints, the things that I have to wear during trial, and
I meant to
I wanted
discuss
to ask about that as far as, am I going to be able to stand at the podium to talk to witnesses, to question my witnesses and to cross-examine, or am I going to be able to move about with the leg thing and the shock vest and all that?
you're gonna stick to your table and you can go to the podium. Okay?
Okay.
When you're giving your opening statement and closing argument, you'll stay by the podium.
Okay.
And if you need to hand a witness an exhibit, your advisory council will do that.
Okay. Or my paralegal can do
Or
that
your,
too.
well, is your paralegal gonna be present here designated as your, I guess they can be present. I'd prefer advisory council to be the one that approaches witnesses if you need to hand an exhibit or something like that.
Okay, so I'm gonna be standing there, and if she's sitting here, she's gonna come get something from me and go walk it over to the witness and then come back?
Correct.
Just the logistics of it? just
Yeah,
fine.
and there'll be a table or a cart here that'll have all the exhibits on it within reach of the podium, so.
Okay.
Anything else?
Your Honor, do you use case lines for exhibits?
No.
Thank you.
I think they're still working out the bugs on that, so.
Do we need to have our exhibits in place?
All right, we'll see you at 8:15 on March 18. Be at recess on this matter.
It's usually like a day or two.
All right.
Hold on. Gotta shut this down. All right. Da-da-dun-dun. Da-da-dun-dun. Right. Whoa. That was interesting. That was a very interesting hearing. Yeah. I don't know. I was taking notes and I also starred the rest of the comments that were in the chat from Donna and Trace. Donna's were coming from Justin Lum and Nate Eaton. And then Trace was coming from the courtroom because she is there. And so I asked Trace if she would want to come up and share her court experience with us once this video is finished, but I haven't gotten a response from her yet. And I had asked Joe Schmo if he wanted to come up. I asked him the other day, though, so I haven't asked him just now if he'd want to come and share his courtroom experience with us as well, because, right, we want to know. We want to know all angles, of course. And then Janelle Murphy says, I really think in her mind, she is representing herself because she thinks through this trial that both she and Chad will be exonerated. That is crazy, right? I started that comment too. Interesting, right? So, and here's this. I finally was able to find it. Thank you so much, KJ, for your generous donation. As always, it's very appreciated and it will help, right? Thank you. And so I'm trying to figure out, I'm going to finish, like, I guess I'm going to finish going point by point the tweets that were shared by Nate Eden and Justin Lum, just to kind of, it's put differently than just watching it, So I don't know if I'd share this one already. I think I did. So per Nate Bareski, oh my gosh, let me try that again. Per Nate, Bareski says he will allow one pool camera, but not during jury selection. He will issue an order later today with more details. Kelly asked about live streaming the trial, and Kelly, I want to say, is the attorney for Court TV, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. Lori complaining the camera in the past has been zoomed in on her face the whole time. Bareski asked if there can be a 1 to 2 minute delay. Kelly says yes, but sharing it with the pool cannot be delayed. Bareski's order would need to specify the delay. So we're still looking forward towards Judge Bareski's, how he, all these little things, he'll be able to clarify better. We'll be looking for that. Bareski asked some questions about how the footage would be distributed. Per Nate, Daybell says she does not want papers on her table shown and she does not want her face zoomed in on. That whoever is speaking needs to be shown. Bareski says his order already says that. Okay. And they won't be allowed to show any jurors. So I remember sharing this earlier. Judge asked about victim witnesses and restraining orders. And then Treva Levesque says, oh, but she didn't mind the camera in her face on Dateline, right? Always bringing us back to reality because it's crazy. Kay Woodcock, my mom, will be a designated victim representative testifying in this trial per the state. State says 6-week trial estimation. Bareski asked if the parties are ready for trial on March 31. Daybell says yes. Judge asked how long the case might take. Trina Kay says jury should be screened for 6 weeks, meaning, that they will be there for 6 weeks, not that jury selection will take, 6 weeks. That's what at first I was like, what? But yeah, Daybell says yes. Judge asked how long the case might take. So Trina Kay says jury should be screened for 6 weeks and her case should take about 2 to 3 weeks. Per Justin, both parties confirmed they are ready to begin trial on 3/31. Prosecution says the case will take 2 to 3 weeks, but her experience with defendants going pro per proceedings take longer. That was a mouthful, huh? 200 jurors will get an e-questionnaire. Both parties will get to see a draft by end of this week. Those jurors will get the questionnaires on 3/24 through 3/27. So Wick Girl says, so 6-week jury selection means the trial won't actually see. So that's why I was clarifying that too. So it's just allotting that amount of time for total, I guess. By morning of 3/31, the court can go through who needs to be withdrawn from the pool. Whoever is not let go can return on 4/1, April Fool's Day, for the fool that's representing herself, right? Totally, it totally aligns there. Approximately 100 to 200 jurors each day. And then in-person voir dire will begin on April 1st. On April 2nd, another 200 jurors will be questioned. And if necessary, more will be questioned on April 3rd. There will be 12 jurors with 4 to 5 alternates. Trey says they will lose lots when asking about prior media coverage, which we just, witnessed that with the court hearing. Per Nate, Daybell says putting her name, quote, could be bad both ways, unquote. She says people may not want to be on the jury if they see her name. because she is special, right? She is the Lord's favorite. It's complicated. That's quote unquote. Judge says her name will come up sooner or later. I agree. So he'd rather get it out there to eliminate jurors who know of the case. But you heard it right here that Lori was like, but some will go ahead and just say they don't know the case just to be on the jury. Anyways, I thought that was interesting. And we had somebody in here earlier. I don't remember the name right off, but I might have started. That was in the voir dire process for Chad Daybell's trial. And so I asked if that, I'll get to it, but that person, it was like Carrie something, I think. I was like, would you want to talk about that more? Because we'd love to talk to you, you know? Just somebody who went through jury selection for Chad Daybell. That's so interesting to me. Thanks for your service, you know, even having to go down there and not be selected, you know? It's crazy. They're crazy. So he'd rather get out there to eliminate jurors who know of the case. And then there it is. A fool for her client starts trial on April Fool's Day. I've never laughed so hard, right? Lori says they went through 1,900 jurors last trial, and she wants individual questioning, not group questioning. Okay. And then Trey says he's hoping for opening statements on the 7th. So put that on your, I like how they use the term dark, right? Darken your calendars for that day. It's interesting. April 7th. Lori Vallow Daybell tells the judge that in Idaho's group voir dire, they went through 1,900 people and she would prefer individual voir dire so jurors don't learn details through group panels. She's such a professional. Lori says there could be people who see her name and want to be part of the jury and will say they don't know who she is to be in the pool. Okay. And then Ashley Ray Carter says, what right does she have to dictate the news stream anyway? She made a public nuisance out of this family. Now let's make one out of her. She'll do it on her own. Trust me. She already has. She's been doing a really good job at that, I think. Judge is not against it, but it's a wait and see for now. State says they can provide witness lists by the end of the month. Prosecution also requests a half day on 4/24. Okay. All right. Judge is putting in for 5 weeks. Lori Vallow Daybell confirms jury selection begins on 3/31, but in-person proceedings happen on 4/1 through 4/3. And then Sneaky Suspicion says orange is her color. Just wanted to share that. Boreski is going to put a proposed schedule on the juror questionnaire, saying the trial could last 5 weeks. And then Angela Davidson says, like the Legally Blonde movie character, in my opinion. Yeah. Okay, Trey says advisory council will help Lori prep for jury selection at Estrella so they are ready to roll on the 31st of March, right? And then Gene P says, in my opinion, we were already gypped not being able to watch Lolo's death penalty trial, so we need to see this whole trial and its entirety, audio and video. I agree. On to disclosure. State says they've disclosed all. Okay. And then Daybell is taking notes with a pencil, putting her reading glasses on and off, and smiling/chatting with her advisory attorney, Bernate. Lori says communication has been cut off and state is hiding stuff. It's a conspiracy, don't you know? Judge says, I can't tell the state to turn over something they say they don't have. Which Wit Girl says, what does she think the state is hiding? The truth, I guess. I don't know. The thing that would exonerate her and her convicted husband. I really don't know. Who knows what that woman. Court TV will be included, but there will be one pool camera used. Okay. Per Nate, Daybell asked what the state is possibly hiding, as it's been over a month since she filed her motion. She asked for state to turn over whatever they have left. Boreski says the state has complied with the first request as far as communication between the attorney and law enforcement agencies. So, yeah. Lori didn't get her way. Court TV will be included, says KJ. And then Trey says she is talking about Gilbert PD releasing the video of her, Tylee, and Melanie Gibb. Susan Honecker says, yes, TV included. And then Real Happy 33 says, not abnormal to not stream jury selection, right? And then Treva Lebec, was like, chat isn't allowed. I think because he's on death row, but who knows? I don't know. You're such a good friend to our Kresha K. Thanks for supporting her. Wish I could do more. You do wonders, Jean. You do plenty. And, we appreciate you. I do. I know we do. I know you support Colby and others, so you being here, just wanted you to know that. Lori is calling that an interrogation that day when Charles supposedly stole her phone and her and Gibb and Tylee were at Gilbert PD, which I did pull this particular interview up, with her, Melanie Gibb and Tylee. But, and I know there are different body cams of interactions with the police. Like one went to go call Gabe Bonilla. One went to go talk to Charles. I remembered those aspects of it, but I didn't pull the other ones up. I just have that one pulled up and we can go over it in a minute. She wants better video. She wants better video than cop cams coming in and out. So she wants the high dollar ones, I guess, Stupid. I'm just saying, because if they're lower quality, you saw how good we could see Chad Daybell, right? You could kind of see the silhouette, of he doesn't make many faces. So, I mean, there's not much to work with there, but still, it just wasn't, it was very grainy and kind of hard to see. Lower quality video. So I just think that's interesting. Per Justin, Daybell says body cam videos have been segmented in 12-minute chunks. She's looking for some sort of video that is angled above the room in an interrogation manner. She don't know what an interrogation is. So Donna says, we know Gilbert Police Department had body cameras on, but I have never seen a ceiling camera angle from that day in 2019. I wouldn't say it's a look. Let me go grab. Sorry. When I open a window, it automatically plays whatever video I pulled up. So, okay, let me show y'all what I have. And that way you can see too. Let me fix the angle here. Okay, and pull this down. And then this is the angle. Hold on. It's more of the cop angle, actually. I don't know what she's talking about. Okay, come on. Is the whole damn thing blocked out? Oh, is it muted?
Stole my purse out of the car, my whole purse. So my phone, he said he was really
Yeah, that's from his. I've never seen one from the ceiling either.
He was coming home.
Have you guys?
And, so this morning when I took my
Let us know. This is, remember, she just wanted her lip gloss. So that's one thing that we can't. Hold on, let me turn this down.
Stole my purse out of the car, my whole purse. So my phone, my wallet, my money, my everything was in there. So
okay, good, Trace.
I had the door locked, but
okay, let me do that for a second. I remember, so this is one thing, anybody that does attend this trial in Arizona, bring your lip gloss and then proudly and generously, reapply it to your lips. It's just a little flex I think we can do. Okay. And then I just got a text from Trace. She said she was up all night writing the obituary. I don't know what she's talking about. Oh, that's so sad. Lauren's brother died. That's just horrible. Whew, I know what I did was just immerse myself in all this instead of worrying about all that stuff. That's terrible. I'm so sorry to hear that. Okay, so Trey says they're going to their favorite Mexican restaurant, and So they're going to break bread, I think, with Lauren. Okay. So, okay. Now I get the obituary thing. Trace, I'm so sorry. Okay. Okay. Just making sure. All right. So they're going to have lunch. So we'll just continue on with all this stuff. Right? Okay. And then, so this is where we were. We know Gilbert PD had body cameras on, but I have never seen a ceiling camera angle from that day in 2019. Right. And then thank you, Jean P. She said she liked my interview with Joe Schmo. So anybody who hasn't seen it, please go check it out. Go check him out, sub to him. He's just a genuine guy, and I need him because he helps keep me on, because I can go everywhere, and I do go everywhere because of all the things that I research. But I need people to like help me stay organized, I guess you could say, because then if not, I probably sound like Lori. you know. So it's so appreciated. Desert Rain says she's claiming, quote, media saturation when she requested the Dateline interview. Lori is as sharp as a marble. That's funny. I like that one. Yeah, I agree. Lori says her mitigator, right? She had a hard time saying that, and corroborate. She kept saying corroborate. I don't know, just the way she said it didn't sound right. Showed her video recorded solid from a room camera, not just the police body cams. Interesting. And then she said the judge was moving on, talking about hearsay now, Alex and Tylee, about their statements, right? That was interesting. Like we kind of learned a little bit. I don't know if it's true or not, but you know what I'm saying? Like a little bit more, I don't know, maybe context, but I mean, coming from Lori, is it more context or is it just more of her conjecture? Yeah, Donna says, I think Trace is off to have lunch with her daughter and Lauren and her assistant. Trace said Lauren's brother died. Thank you. Yeah. That's sad. So sorry. Ugh. It's not fun, right? Okay. All right. So she thinks that Alex's police interview is not hearsay. So Lori thinks Alex's police interview is not hearsay. That's what Lori thinks. And then next up, state's motion in limine about Alex Cox's statement and state's motion in limine about Tylee Ryan's hearsay statements. And so Trace says she wants Tylee and Alex's statements to the police that day of Charles's murder to be allowed in the court. Okay. Daybell says there is a police interview of Alex Cox that doesn't fall under hearsay. Judge asks, why not? Lori responds, because it's not being used for the truth of the matter. Judge asks, Lori, aren't you arguing what he said is true? She says she can't say if it's true or not. Okie-doke. And then in between there, her witness list is comical, says Beach Bum. Yeah, it is. And then Donna says, Vallow Daybell says all three interviews with her, Tylee, and Alex that police conducted led to Chandler PD's narrative of self-defense and how they conducted the investigation. Oh my God. Yeah, not the bazillion text messages between her and her hubby, her fifth hubby, who has been sentenced to death for the killings of Tylee, JJ, and Tammy in Idaho. But, not because those are so telling. Just their text messages, get rid of Ned already. He changed it before we got rid of Ned. Those are very damning. And I mean, I know, and I just am trying to keep my faith that I know that Charles didn't go in there and provoke her and or Alex or Tylee. I think he went there, got provoked, and that is what it is. It's all chaos, and it's all just to confuse everything. They are a what was said, a psychological hornet's nest, because anybody who watched the Dateline interview from Friday, I don't know if it affected you this way, but it affected me this way. I was drained afterwards. I was like depleted through the television, through my device. She depleted my energy, because I think she's a damn energy vampire, straight up. I mean, she sucks the damn oxygen out the room for sure. But that's just me, anyways, it's interesting. Judge explaining, this is not excited utterance. And then Gene P says, does Lolo sound manic like when she talked to Keith on Dateline? We'll have to ask. I mean, she kind of sounds like that all the time, Lori started quoting Arizona law rules and says that they apply to part of Alex's statements, but not others. Judge asked for specifics, which statements and what rules. And then Bewitch says, I wonder how the LDS Church is going to react to Lori's representation of the religion. They're going to rebuke it, I'm sure, like they have the whole time. And then here's the person, Carrie Witt. When does the trial start and where will it be streaming? So, I mean, oh my gosh, I think it starts on April 7th. I mean, like the actual trial part, I think that's what was said earlier. And I mean, if we can stream it here, we'll stream it here. But I mean, it's going to go through a pool camera, right? And then distributed that way. So Court TV has their pool camera for sure. But, I mean, how we've done it in the past is that whomever streams it, then you just kind of piggyback off of them. And then, it's different because this is YouTube. I'm talking about like how it's done. I have no idea, really. I don't know. I really don't know. And then she says, I was part of jury selection for Chad. And so if you would like to come up and talk about that ever, or just off the record, that would be lovely. Just to kind of, ask about your experience. That's got to be very unique, Judge is so calm and patient, but doesn't fall for her BS. That's good to know, right? She's citing all the reasons she wants his statements and to be allowed in. Okay, sorry. I'm just kind of reading whatever I wanted to read there. Lori wants to keep Nate out of the courtroom during trial as a witness. So anybody who has a question about this, about shouldn't Nate not be able to cover it since he's also going to be a witness? And then is that Lori's like ultimate, is that what she's trying to do? Or what's the reason for subpoenaing Nate? But I do share some of y'all's comments here. Judge just educates her why she is wrong. Is there going to be an overflow room, I wonder? Gene P asked. And then Donna says, per Justin, Lori Vallow Daybell says Alex was under stress when he made the statements. Really? Because like when I heard the 911 call, it sounded like he was ordering something off the damn menu. That's how just calm. And then he waited 43 minutes. So he had time to calm down. First off, can we just say that? Oh my God. Per Justin. Okay. And then says, Judge asked about his demeanor. She says Alex was upset and shot his brother after being hit in the head with the bat. Allegedly. We'll say allegedly. State will not ask for Alex's interview at Chandler PD. So that's the state. And then Gene P says, I think Lori wants Nate to go on the witness stand because she wants to know where he got his inside information about her and Chad. I think that's legit. That could be one of the reasons, And then she says, nobody gives up their confidential resources in journalism. Sorry, Lori. Right? I remember Mandy, which is Mandy Leger. That's Todd's long-term girlfriend, my brother Todd. And so JJ is her biological son, but Mandy passed away since, right? But she used to say, like, when the kids first went missing, and we were just wrecked. And she came over one night and she was like, there's no glory in this story, Lori, or something like that. She was a goober like that, just there's no glory in this story for Lori. I'm just telling you what she said, and she's right. So She is Beach Bum says she's also working on Idaho appeal. Laugh out loud. And then Trey says no statement coming in from Tylee by the state either. Lori says Tylee was scared to tell police that she brought the bat in. See, that's that tidbit I was like saying, like, if this is true, which I mean, why should we believe anything that Lori freaking says? Because it's not true. This is coming from the same woman who is blaming her daughter for her own damn murder. You know what I'm saying? Like it's nonsensical, just like Lori is. Look, I wrote me a little note. It says Lori has no right to tell us what Tylee's state of mind was during Tylee's interview with Chandler Detective, in my opinion. This is coming from the same woman who was convicted of murdering her and has since accused Tylee of being the actual person who killed her little brother, JJ, and then fatally killing herself, right? Upon realizing what she had done. I mean, so take that with a grain of salt. And that's my advice, that's what I do because it's hearsay. Lori's statement about that is hearsay, in my opinion. She's not able to read the room, so to speak. So I don't take her word. Let's see. Donna says MCAO does not intend to bring in any of Tylee's statement from that day of 7/11/19. Gene P says no more remote viewing. Lori even said as much about wanting Nate's inside confidential sources. Bereski asked State if they intend to introduce any statements from Alex Cox. Trina K says she hasn't decided. Trina K hasn't decided. They will not be admitting his interview from later in the day. Okay, so the one at the police station, I guess, right? The day Charles was shot, but may use statements from right after the shooting happened. Okay. State does not plan to introduce any of Tylee's statements in trial. Janelle Murphy says, I think Lori's representing herself because in her mind, right, she thinks she will look competent. Yeah, that's good. Alex will be more statement by statement, so that's what's going to be allowed in, I guess. Donna says, Trina K says Lori Daybell has been found guilty of Tylee. The reason Tylee is unavailable as a witness is because the defendant's actions. Kay says, can you say that for everybody in the back, please? Wow, she's really trying to control where the camera goes, isn't she? She is a control freak, straight up. Lori will hate the foot cam. We love it, though. The feet, laugh out loud, but different cameraman. Since Alex made his interview hours after the murder, Judge Bereski is skeptical of allowing those statements in, but what he said during the 911 call and at the crime scene is okay right now. So I'll pull those up too. Lonnie Dworkin, expert on Lori's phone info. Lori didn't get the info to the state on time, right? Lori is behind in turning over discovery. Okay, I don't know if Jason sounded like he was about to come in. Bereski says expert disclosures and reports are due 30 days before trial. Quote, if you are planning to use that expert, you need to get that disclosed right away. At this point, it's technically late, Lori, right? In quotes, Lori. I'll put that in there. And then Trey says, setting date for Brandon's trial. State asking for 3 weeks. And then Donna says, Bereski asked Daybell about handprints and photos being taken of her. Quote, in the event you are convicted, it may be used to present other convictions, unquote. The state says they will need at least 30 days for the second trial, Brandon Boudreaux, as out-of-state subpoenas will need to be served. Lori says her last date for speedy trial is May. And, for May 11th, right? She's like, would that be done before May 11th? Sorry. But yeah. And then he just shot her down real quick. Well, Lori says her last date for speedy trial is May and they should combine the trials. And then Trey says, oh my God, now talking about joint trial. And then Lori Vallow Daybell says the state could easily combine both cases into one trial, but they don't want to. And she believes her speedy trial right is being violated. Angela says the public and media is getting to her, in my opinion. Good, in my opinion. We want justice for Charles, justice for Brandon. Is this the first time Arizona is having a high profile case? No. No jury is ever shown on camera from my knowledge. In my opinion, I'm having deja vu from Idaho. Right? And then Jacqueline Knack says, I stand with Colby Ryan and the rest of his family. And I just wanted to say, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support. You know, it matters. Trey says, state would need a slight delay to join them, but would do it. Donna says, Trina K says the second trial will take the state about 3 weeks. Daybell just says, quote, I'd like to remind the court the last day is May 11th, unquote, for her second trial. Boreski says, you can't have two trials running at the same time. Okay. Boreski asked Kay if they want to combine the two trials. Judge seriously considering it. Beach Bum says, I wouldn't do it. It'll give her another appeal. I wouldn't do it. It'll give her another appeal issue. Donna says, Kay says if both trials are held together, they would need to push back the schedule. Judge says, well, you can't have two trials going simultaneously. That's, Now Daybell is saying that she does not want the trials combined, but, quote, give me my second trial date by May 11th, unquote. Boreski says he's going to waive time because the defendant can't try both cases at the same time. Translated beings can't do that. Okay. Right. May 12th for Brandon's trial, state opposes. Judge, Trey says judge has stuff going on in June, like some training classes and stuff he was talking about. Summer says, is Nate going to be able to sit and report this trial since he's on the witness list? So was answered kind of earlier because he's not going to be able to report on this if he's on the witness list, right? I mean, that's my understanding. I'm not sure, but sounds right. Mohawk Mom says she thinks she is so special and famous, more like infamous, right? Donna says Boreski wonders if they could start Brandon's trial on May 12th. State objects, says they need more time. Boreski says if they push it out any further, he won't be trying the case. We got to have Judge Boreski, y'all. We've already gotten used to him. We like him. He's very no nonsense, it seems. And it's going to take someone special, a special judge, to maneuver the psychological hornet's nest that's defending herself. In my opinion, that's just me. And then Donna says he's rotating at the end of June and he has trainings in June. Sorry, I said that real weird. At Nate News Now, Daybell says both parties could send out subpoenas now for the second trial date of May. Let me start over. At Nate News Now, Daybell says both parties could send out subpoenas now for the second trial date of May 12th. Boreski wonders if the first trial will be done by May 1st. Per Nate, Boreski will speak with the criminal presiding judge. Oh, okay. I was just like, speak with the criminal, and I didn't read further. Sorry. Let me start that over. Boreski will speak with the criminal presiding judge about the second trial. There will be another hearing on this case for Daybell on March 18th, next Tuesday. So mark your calendars out for that. Mark them dark for that. And then Trace says, I believe Judge also gets reassigned this summer. My personal statement, they are moved every 3 years. So they like shuffle around. That's my understanding too. Donna says we will learn more about the planning for the second trial on 3/18 at 8:15 a.m. So again, mark your calendars. We'll be here. And then Beach Bum says, no freaking way she's going to be ready for trial ×2. And then Trey says, I'm zoning, but cameras are going to see. Zero says, I think we should brace ourselves for what potentially may have happened between Alex's first and second shot. And yeah, I think that's really wise advice. Charlotte Bassett says, why is she wearing off the shoulder shirt? Jacqueline Knack, her blaming Tylee. Exactly. Exactly. It's disgusting. Trey says Lori wants to stand at podium and move about freely. She wants to roll. She wants to, work her jelly, in my opinion. And then Beach Bum says, "Oh, they will let her as long as she behaves. She may wear a shocker under her clothing." And then Bewitch says her shoulder is showing. Not very LDS of her. I felt home. And then I had finally caught up on all these live tweets from Justin and Nate Eaton, and Donna was filtering and plugging them all into here, and that's what I just read. So thank you, Donna, and thank you, Trace, for sure. Appreciate y'all. And then says she will stick to her table and can go to the podium. If she needs to hand a witness an exhibit, her advisory council will do that. Per Nate, Daybell says she has a housekeeping matter before this hearing ends. She asked how witness questioning will go. Quote, "Can I move about with the leg thing and the shock vest?" Unquote. Oh my gosh. Where's the rest of that? Bereski, per Justin, Lori wants to know about having restraints on and if she can be at the podium speaking to witnesses and jurors. Judge says she will be able to stand and speak from the podium. So expect that, y'all. And then let's go back here. Betsy said she can't help herself with the dropped shoulder bearing her evil flesh. And then Auntie Ree said they need to put a uniform on her that fits. Bitch, please. Yeah. The X-File says, I'm shocked to see a woman helping Lori. Usually all men are helping her. I know, right? Lori thinking, I'm too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy for my shirt. So sexy it hurt. All right. I'm sorry about that. It's kind of funny. And then Mohawk Mom reminds us that there's a hair tie in place for her ring. Okay. Her advisory council will be in charge of giving her exhibits and handing them to witnesses. Lindsay Hendricks says, am I remembering correctly that Melanie Gibb went to the police station with them? Yes, you are. Mohawk, I noticed that ring. It's real cotton. I mean, it's funny. It's funny because, is that real gold? Is that real silver? No, it's real cotton. It's real cotton. Okay. You heard it here first. You heard it here. Lindsay also says that shoulder, so scandalous. Right. Video testimony from Chad 2, Zero ask. And then Beach Bum says, right, said Fred. All right. And then Mohawk Mom says, oh, she is talking about when Charles had her phone. Maybe. Charles never had her phone. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Gotcha. I'm with you now. And then Zero says, Jacqueline, maybe a ring can be a first tattoo, then a bunch of teardrops, right? Teardrops. Lori the concubine needs to put her shirt up over her shoulder, right? And then Beach Mom says, yes, Gibb was there after the purse debacle. Tylee and I don't know. Oh, I get it. Taste of what is going to come, people. Well, that's little brands or librarians who's rebranded. Okay. I call her a Valley Girl Mormon. Her tone always sounds so juvenile. And then Kim, that was from Nina Canadian. And then Kim Edwards says she wants an uncut version. Please. And then Angela Davidson, why so huffy? Laugh out loud, mass lips, in my opinion. And then Rowan to you. Hey, Rowan to you. Good to see you. When Tylee is singing. And I mean, yes, that is a very heartbreaking part of that body cam footage of Tylee. And then Beach Bum says, don't insult the Valley Girls. For sure. Laugh out loud. KJ says they are talking about after the purse incident, not after Charles was shot. Right. From Lum, Lori Vallow Daybell says Alex was under stress when he made the statements. Judge asked about his demeanor. She says Alex was upset and shot his brother after being hit in the head with the bat. So this was just me coming in late with all this. And then prosecutor says Lori has been convicted of killing Tylee and she can't benefit from bringing in her victim's statements. The reason Tylee is not available is because of Lori's actions. Right? Judge confirms. That's the rest of it. And then Rowan to you says, unfortunately, everyone but Lori is not alive to tell. Hey, Cheyenne Pina. Well, good to see you again. And for becoming a YouTube member. Thank you so much. Really does help. Marilyn Pastor says, not going to go well, in my opinion. Judge has an extremely difficult job ahead of him. Her counsel should have told her that she was late disclosing her witnesses. I agree. And then Janelle says, I really think in her mind she is representing herself because she thinks through this trial that both she and Chad will be exonerated. That's a good statement. It really is. Thank you, Fancy Nancy. I think we're just a bunch of pot stirrers. Hell to the pot stirrers, right? I think that's very good. Oh my gosh. Thank y'all so much. Oh God, it's all like colorful right here. Thank y'all. So thank you, Duke and Molly. $2 super chat. We are here for you. Live here in Mesa. Oh my gosh. What do you guys think of all this? You know, I mean, this is your jurisdiction. What do you think? And I'm so sorry, you know? Oh, it's like I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed because of what Lori has done and is doing, continuing to do. It's just embarrassing at this point. Thank you, Treva Levesque. We are here for you, Kresha, Kay, and Larry. We appreciate you. Thank you so much, Treva. And then Golden Rule sent a $10 super sticker, Canadian, right? Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Marilyn Pastor also sent a $4.99 super sticker. Thank you so much. And then Treva gifted 5 difficult research memberships. So thank Treva. If you have your option or your settings where it'll accept them, then you were gifted one from Treva, then, you know, make sure to thank her, and we thank her as well. Okay, so I'm finally done. Finally done, right? And yeah, I don't think so, though, for some reason. I don't know. I was thinking about this the other day, Gene P. Gene P says, I hope this trial will bring the named and unnamed co-conspirators to their knees and have to tell the truth on the stand about their, I'm just going to say violent, about their involvement or knowledge of Charles's homicide. I know. Mohawk Mom says, Barry, the want to be lawyer. Remember, he got in trouble years ago. He sure did. Okay, so I mean, I do believe that's why we see Lori representing herself too. I think this factors in because Lori, I mean, this is her dad. She was raised around somebody who just knew better and above everybody else. So, you know what I'm saying? So this has to factor into why Lori is representing herself, in my opinion. That's just me. I don't know if it does, but I mean, it just sounds like it. Yes, it is going to be something else for sure. Also in Mesa, we think she had it all. Just didn't appreciate it. I didn't know you were in Mesa, JoJo. Well, and I'm sorry for her being there too and doing all this crap. Just like I'm sorry that it happened up there in Idaho, you know? But Judge Boyce, y'all, he really, like, it gives me chills, you know, because he had to sit there and watch all of it and just the theatrics of all the hearings between Lori and Chad over the years. And then for him at Lori's sentencing, you know, to be like, you moved your kids up here where they knew nobody to where I live. You brought your kids here to my town and you did all just to murder them, you know? And so just going back and watching Judge Boyce share his statement, you know, his victim impact statement, I guess you could say, is very, very telling. It's very good, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure. Even I wonder if she told him why she thought he was dark, you know, because she rated him as dark. And then I had questioned this very thing about why Lori might have had Barry listed as being dark or a zombie on her zombie hit list, her and Chad's zombie hit list. And I mean, I'm just like, why would she have her dad listed as dark, you know? And then it just, one of my questions was there essay in there from way back? You know, I don't really know. Trying to figure out this whole satanic element of all this, you know, because it's a thing. It's a thing, especially with these people and Ruby Frankie and Jody Hildebrandt. There's this group that exists within the church that Bishop Glenn L. Pace investigated and reported on internally to the church that was leaked. And I actually read it. And I mean, if you go listen to that video, which I mean, let me go grab it so you know what the hell I'm even talking about. But let's see. Go to videos. Let me go to my videos. Yeah, the PACE memo. Here it is. Copy link. So it's finally the PACE memo, a reading. I read the PACE memo basically. And I mean, whenever I'm reading it, you know, it's like in mind, I'm keeping their, you know, all the crimes of Ruby Frankie and Jody Hildebrandt, David Hamblin, and Lori and Chad, as well as Tim Ballard, you know, just kind of like this whole clique that has been spotlighted, I guess you could say. And just tell me what you think, because it sounds very similar, you know, people putting plastic bags over their kids' heads. Okay. It's crazy, but I think it's the same thing that's been going on this whole time. And just because it's never been dealt with, just like a lot of things in the LDS church, in my opinion, it tracks. I mean, I think that's why we're seeing 2019 versions of this PACE memo. And, you know, also in 2023 with Jody Hildebrandt and Ruby Frankie, their crimes against children, the two youngest, which is interesting. The two youngest children in Ruby Frankie and Jody Hildebrandt were targeted and abused. The two children of Lori Vallow Daybell were targeted and murdered. The two younger children in Melanie Pulowski's instance, right? They were next, in my opinion. Those two children, Brandon Boudreaux's children, you know, they're the two youngest children there. So I don't know if this is just a coincidence that all three are the younger children, or I don't know if there's something about watch out for the younger children. I don't know. I'm trying to figure this stuff out too. I don't know who gifted a membership, but thank you. That's very kind of you. Hey, Eric, how are you? How's it been? How you been? Good to see you. And geez, if they were SA2, what the hell? I know. It's just something that I'm working on, you know, that it's like, okay, why are they so inverted? Why? Like, I want to know. And because I want to figure this out. And I mean, that's what I've been doing. Oh, I saw that the other night, Krisha. It was nauseating listening to what he wrote. And that was just a small fraction of what goes on. Yeah. It definitely isn't reported on hit and miss, you know, but it's terrible. And then Shraddha Niche says, hey, thanks for my gift. Oh, that's awesome. Yet Chads were fine. Exactly. But I don't listen. I mean, okay, so I pulled this up too. With that in mind. Keep that in mind. Let me go to what I pulled up. I mean, I pulled up the articles, but I've transferred it into here. So right here. Light and dark scale used outside of Chad and Lori Daybell's relationship. So I think this is huge to me. And this came up in Chad's trial. The light and dark scale, often mentioned in messages with Lori Daybell, was also brought up in a family chat with Chad and Tammy Daybell. Vincent Kayakamanu with the Madison County Sheriff's Office said one message sent from Tammy Daybell's account, which Chad Daybell often messaged from, labeled a child in a church class the couple had taught as 4.2 dark. That's quoted. Chad Daybell would label people light and dark based on how much he believed a person had been taken over by evil, according to the officer and other witnesses. Y'all, come on now. Everybody's just like, it's like everybody, I don't know. It's like everybody's got goggles on and they just only chalk it up to Lori and Chad. But I mean, this was going on. This is from trial testimony in Chad's trial that it was going on before then, and labeling kids. a child in a church class. The couple had thought, you know, that's crazy. And these are just some notes, you know, that's geolocations. Let's see. Oh, and then I took these notes too. There are no witnesses. There are no witness interviews conducted, and that's from Lori's recollection going on with the trial, right? And then her witness, Lonnie Dworkin, is going to be phone and digital expert witness, which I remember a long time ago, y'all, that I remember them from Arizona. They were saying that Nicole Heidemann, she's an FBI analyst that testified in Chad's trial, and Lori's, okay? And so it brought me to this. So I'm just kind of going on. Hold on just one second. Let's watch this one part. Even though, I mean, we can like what people say, but just still don't excuse all these people from, they're not exonerated in my mind, okay?
The acreage that you're talking about, do you have any recollection of how much acreage we're talking around that surrounds Chad's house?
You own it. How many acres is it?
Well, I appreciate it. I don't know. Judge, could we have a sidebar?
Yeah, I remember that. Y'all remember that? I do. Everybody talks about it, right? It was funny. I mean, because they're ridiculous. One more time. Play.
The acreage that you're talking about, do you have any recollection of how much acreage we're talking around that surrounds Chad's house?
You own it. How many acres is it?
Well, I appreciate it. I don't know. Judge,
I
could we
know
have a
now.
sidebar? Yes.
Can we have a sidebar to go, please? All right. Okay, Thursday's testimony. Okay, Daybell assigned many light or dark ratings and discussed them with family. Officer testified. I pulled it up. It's just I opened up quite a few. All right, here, maybe.
For the day, and
Sorry.
today more evidence stacked up against him. He's
This
accused
could
of killing
be-
2 Arizona kids and his first wife.
And about his first wife,
This might not be the
question
right
is, how
detective.
did she die exactly? Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum has the latest.
Don, Christina, a special investigator with the FBI took the stand today, not only focusing on Chad Daybell, but also his late brother-in-law, Alex Cox. Cox is the brother of Doomsday Mom Lori Vallow, who was found guilty of murdering her kids just last year. Now, remember, Cox used to live here in Gilbert. He's named a co-conspirator in this triple murder case. The FBI tracked his cell phone device, looking at data in September through October of 2019. Yellowstone National Park was the last place his 16-year-old niece, Tylee Ryan, was seen alive publicly. A photo recovered from her mother, Lori Vallow's iCloud, shows Tylee, her brother JJ Vallow, and Alex Cox on September 8th of 2019. Cox's cell phone later pinged in the Daybell backyard the next morning for a total of 2 hours. After he left Daybell's home, Cox went to a Del Taco, and Chad sent this text to his wife, Tammy, which showed the jury both men were together on the property at some point.
And the text message read, "Well, I've had an interesting morning. I felt I should burn all of the limb debris by the fire pit before it got too soaked by the coming storms. While I did so, I spotted a big raccoon along the fence. I hurried and got my gun, and he was still walking along. I got close enough that one shot did the trick. He is now in our pet cemetery. Fun times."
Cox's phone also pinged on the Daybell property the day after JJ Vallow was last seen alive. About 2 weeks later, both children's remains would be discovered in June of 2020 by authorities. Important to note, no raccoon remains were found in that backyard. Now, we are sharing the trial's live stream on our Fox 10 Phoenix YouTube channel daily. Join us throughout the day as I provide live analysis during the breaks. Just scan the QR code for more information. I'm Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum.
I'm smoking a cigarette, so that's why I went off camera. Let me go.
Conditions get extreme.
Okay, turning that off, and I could have swore it was a while back. It was like before anything really focused towards Arizona, but they were saying how They wanted it was prosecution wanting Nicole Heidenberg, or I think that's her name, something like that. And she testified, and she was a tactical specialist, and she had read the James and Elena story in Chad Daybell's trial for sure. So I pulled her testimony up just because I know they had motioned for her to testify in the Arizona trial. I remember this from a long time ago. Do I have the papers with me right now to show you? No, I don't. But this
All right.
election,
Tactical specialist, correct? Heidemann, been a while since you were here testifying, but you were previously here. Given the length of time, I am going to have
Thank
the
you so
clerk
much.
please administer an
Appreciate
oath
you.
again to you. Thank you.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing
I
but
do
the truth?
enough
So
bad
help you God.
stuff, so I don't want to
Okay,
add
thank
to
you. You
it.
can be seated.
They probably don't care for it, but I just don't need any more bad remarks or bad marks against me. I talk about enough bad crap here, and they keep me in the gutter. So I don't know, but he makes Ed Gein
All right,
look
tactical
like neighbor of
specialist
the year.
Heidemann, if you
Ah,
would just confirm whether or not you've watched or observed any trial testimony since you were here earlier on in the trial and testified.
I have not, sir.
I
Okay,
wanted to
have you
bring this
talked to
up,
anyone
but I mean,
else, including
hold on.
anyone from your agency or any other law enforcement officer?
I mean, there's that, but then there's what Lori actually brought up, which was, what I was playing in the background here, but I wasn't playing any sound. I'm gonna go look for other.
You know what those are? Sunglasses. First of all, who am I talking?
I don't know who that was. I'm gonna go look for different angles while this plays. I'm trying to scooch it. Here's something.
Hey, Gabe. Scott Gallus with the Gilbert Police Department. How are you?
Gabe.
Hey, good. How are you? Hey, the reason for my call, I'll just get right to the point. You're listed as a witness on a petition for an involuntary committal of a Lori Vallow.
It's hard to hear.
What can you tell me about? I'm just kind of doing a little bit of follow-up on this paperwork, and I was hoping you could just kind of enlighten me, because these things are handwritten, so sometimes they don't necessarily encapsulate everything that you could tell me.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. I'll bring up to speed as best I know here, but his wife, she had been getting into some religious things that troubled him. The relationship was a bit odd in the last few months, and it kind of all came to a head when he went out of town. He had me listen to a conversation that he had with her where she was making some strange statements. To be very clear, there was nothing threatening or terroristic of any kind. She didn't threaten to hurt herself or the children or him.
Okay.
She did tell him that she was going to get rid of his stuff, which actually was true. That when he got back, his things were actually gone from the house.
Okay.
When he returned, she had canceled his flights and done some other things to kind of make it really difficult for him to get back.
Yeah.
When he did return, he found that the house was all locked up. No one was home. Gilbert PD helped break in a door so that he could get in the house, and they cleared the house to make sure it was clean. He found some things missing, some clothes, a computer, but no one was home.
Okay.
And no evidence as to where they had gone. That's really the gist of it. I understand now from third parties that she is staying at a hotel, that she appears to be okay. The children are okay. I haven't talked to Charles here for a little bit, so I'm not sure where he is at.
Okay. Let me ask you, sir, if I may. You said, did you listen to this? Was this like a live phone conversation, or was it a recording, or what did you listen to?
He put me in on a conversation. He just he didn't give me kind of warning on it. He just said, "Hold on a sec," and then I guess put me in on a conference call that he was doing with her.
Yeah.
And I thought I was listening to a recording at first, and then it dawned on me after a minute or so that this wasn't a recording, that it was actually a live conversation. And then it ended pretty quick right after that.
Okay. And just so I'm clear, she didn't threaten him, the children, or herself in that conversation?
No, everything was subjective. She did use the word destroy. She said, "I will destroy you," but it was done in a very subjective way that it didn't necessarily come across as a direct threat to him or the children or herself.
Okay. Like it could have been destroy his reputation or something less literal?
His spirit, for all we know, his spirit powers or something. It's just very non-specific.
Okay. When she was speaking, and I know you said it was short, did she seem coherent, or was she?
She seemed coherent, but her statements were strangely irrational. She was accusing him of something, but would not tell him what it was.
Okay.
She seemed to indicate, again, in a somewhat oblique way, that he wasn't who he said he was, that he was. And the only thing that actually concerned me out of the conversation that I thought was beyond the pale, so to speak, was, he said, "Hey, I just want to see the kids," and she said something to the effect of, "Well, you want the kids? I'll give them to you," which I thought was a bit strange for a mom to say.
Yeah.
And that was kind of what made me wonder what was actually going on in her mind at that moment.
Okay.
But she sounded very lucid as she was speaking.
Okay. All right, sir. I think that's all. I really appreciate your time. I know this is an awkward position for you to be in, but I do appreciate the extra info.
No problem. I want to see everyone treated the best they can, and if she is in a bad state, that that she gets the right kind of care, and hopefully this will resolve itself in the best way possible for those poor kids.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would disagree with you. So,
okay.
Thank you again.
Well, thank you, sir.
All right.
Bye.
I'm just asking, where's Gabe been? That was interesting right here.
Cruise? Like, well, it's for when you're cruising around. Oh, does your
I
old
know
man look cool?
right now.
Yeah. Do I have Riz? Do I have the Riz?
What the hell?
Okay, first of all. Look,
I hear something playing on
we
my
wanted
side.
to make sure
Y'all may not hear
that
it.
all of these
I
gifts
do.
went with your other gift. What?
I don't know to shut it up.
Oh, very funny. Yep.
Ha ha ha.
Yep, we got
I said
you a
I wish
car.
I had a car.
We got you
Hope
a
y'all
car.
can't hear it.
Okay,
We
very
got you a
funny.
car.
Ha 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 ha. Can I go back
I
to
don't
work
know
now?
where it's coming
Dad, no.
No, I'm
'cause look, she has a letter. You don't even want to read the
You
letter.
know what? I'm just going to stop sharing and then I'm going to go back to it. That way, it's still playing though from Facebook. Let me restart it. I'm redoing it. Okay. All right. Goodness, that was crazy. I hate when something's playing and I don't know where it's coming from. Okay. Hold on. It has me full screen, so I can't get back over there. Right. It's like a wet paper bag. Okay. Let me get back over here and then do that. Reshare my screen again. Hold on. Because I was going to rewind it so you could hear where Gabe Bonilla, the bishop who showed up with my Uncle Charles, in one of the body cam footage that was released whenever he was locked out of the house and canceled his flights and all that stuff. But right here, Gabe Bonilla says, which I have it highlighted too. Hold on. Okay, Gabe Bonilla is also the illustrator for Jason Mao. And so this is a phone call between Gilbert Officer and Gabe Bonilla. He is the bishop who showed up with my uncle to help him break into his house that Lori had locked him out of. He is also the illustrator for Jason Mao, and they are on company documents together. Just please, I'm just letting you know. And that Gabe Bonilla just said he learned through a third-party person. Gabe Bonilla, I mean, that's Melanie Gibb. That's Melanie Gibb, because if you've listened to all the things and followed this case from the beginning, then, it's like Melanie Gibb was like spying on everybody, okay? It's like Melanie Boudreaux Pulowski, and Alex Cox was like, yeah, talking about how Brandon thought somebody had shot at him and thought it was Melanie Boudreaux at the time. Alex Cox, he thinks Alex Cox shot at him. And so they tell Melanie Gibb all this stuff, and they're like, yeah, and so she goes lurking, right, to see where if she could, I don't know what the hell she was doing. What was Melanie Gibb sticking her big nose and everything for? Yeah, if she's not part of this conspiracy, she's just, got pulled in, sucked in. I don't think so. I really don't think so. That's my opinion. And I wish that, I don't know. I wish Idaho would have handled it a lot differently and not just left us all hanging permanently with named and unnamed co-conspirators. I mean, that could include everybody. But that's just me. So let's go. I want to listen to that part again. Like Gabe Bonilla, the bishop, who drove my uncle to their home whenever Lori had canceled his flights to return home. He was on a business trip. She was calling him Ned. She was saying, that he wasn't him anymore, which I also pulled up another video from another case of what sounds very eerily familiar to what Lori was saying to Charles. And it's that Jennifer Gledhill. I pulled up the spot and everything for once. I have it actually. And where she's saying that Matt Johnson, her husband, was not him anymore. And I was just like, what the F is going on in Mormon world? Okay. It's just eerily odd and similar. But let's listen to this again. I know you can hardly hear it, but let's try. Listen for this part. Mm-hmm.
Hello, this is Gabe.
Hey, Gabe, this is Scott Gallus with the Gilbert Police Department. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
Hey, the reason for my call, I'll just get right to the point. You're listed as a witness on a petition for an involuntary committal of a Lori Vallow.
Yes.
What can you tell me about? I'm just kind of doing a little bit of follow-up on this paperwork, and I was hoping you could just kind of enlighten me, because these things are handwritten, so sometimes they don't necessarily encapsulate everything that you could tell me.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. I'll bring up
This
the
is
as
it.
best I know here, but his wife, she had been getting into some religious things that troubled him. The relationship was a bit odd in the last few months, and it kind of all came to a head when he went out of town. He had me listen to a conversation that he had with her where she was making some strange statements. To be very clear, there was nothing threatening or terroristic of any kind. She didn't threaten to hurt herself or the children or him.
Okay.
She did tell him that she was going to get rid of his stuff, which actually was true. That when he got back, his things were actually gone from the house.
Okay.
When he returned, she had canceled his flights and done some other things to kind of make it really difficult for him to get back.
Yeah.
When he did return, he found that the house was all locked up. No one was home. Gilbert PD helped break in a door so that he could get in the house, and they cleared the house to make sure it was clean. He found some things missing, some clothes, a computer, but no one was home.
Okay.
And no evidence as to where they had gone. That's really the gist of it. I understand now from third parties that she is staying at a hotel, that she appears to be okay. The children are okay. I haven't talked to Charles here for a little bit, so I'm not sure where he is at.
Okay. Let me ask you, sir, if I may. You said, did you listen to this? Was this like a live phone conversation, or was it a recording, or what did you listen to?
He put me in on a conversation. He just he didn't give me kind of warning on it. He just said, "Hold on a sec," and then I guess put me in on a conference call that he was doing with her.
Yeah.
And I thought I was listening to a recording at first, and then it dawned on me after a minute or so that this wasn't a recording; that it was actually a live conversation.
Okay.
And then it ended pretty quick right after that.
Okay. And just so I'm clear, she didn't threaten him, the children, or herself in that conversation?
No, everything was subjective. She did use the word destroy. She said, "I will destroy you," but it was done in a very subjective way that it didn't necessarily come across
What about now?
as a direct threat to him or the children or herself.
Okay. Like it could have been destroy his reputation or something less
She did.
literal.
She's doing it now.
Spirit, for all we know, his spirit powers or something, it's just very non-specific.
Okay. When she
But
was
you know
speaking,
about
I
the
know you said
second
it was
anointing,
short. Did she
Gabe.
seem coherent, or was she?
She seemed coherent, but her statements were strangely irrational. She was accusing him of something, but would not tell him what it was.
Okay.
She seemed to she seemed to indicate again in a somewhat oblique way that he wasn't who he said he was, that he was. And
Ned? Sorry about that.
the only thing that actually concerned me out of the conversation that I thought was beyond the pale, so to speak, was, he said, "Hey, I just want to see the kids," and she said something to the effect of, "Well, you want the kids, I'll give them to you," which I thought was a bit strange for a mom to say.
Yeah.
Do you think that's strange for a mom to say, but not destroy? And you didn't know if it was spiritual or not? And what the fuck? Sorry.
And
the
that
hell?
was kind of what made me wonder what was actually going on in her mind at that moment.
Okay.
But she sounded very lucid as she was speaking.
Okay. All right, sir. I think that's all. I
That is just
really appreciate your time.
so
I know this is an awkward position for you to be in, but I do
disturbing.
appreciate
He's a bishop. That's what he's there for.
the extra info.
No problem.
And it wouldn't even went this far if that cop, I believe, if that cop would even called him, he would have never came forward, in my opinion, because that's just how this goes, right? He's a bishop. They don't ever really just report. They call the 1-800 helpline that is for the church protection. So there's that.
I just obviously I want to see everyone treated the best they can, and if she is in a bad state, that she gets the right kind of care, and hopefully
Correct.
will resolve itself in the best way possible for those poor kids.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would disagree with you. So
Those poor kids. I wonder if he knew.
thank you again.
Well, thank you, sir.
All right.
Bye.
That is so disturbing on so many levels. It's not even funny, y'all, for real. So I'm going to share that one part of. What the hell is that noise now? Hold on. Yeah, weird sounds on this app. I don't know what that is all about. It stopped, whatever that was. Okay, now I'm going to pull this one up. Allegedly, maybe, I don't know. So this is about the case against Jennifer Gledhill. Okay, and so let me copy this so I can share that, because somebody's going to say, "What are we talking about?" And I'll be able to put it in there.
The defendant told the informant that she would.
Okay, just listen to this part right here. Let me know how eerie it sounds compared to Charles Vallow and what Lori Vallow Daybell was saying about her husband at that time.
The defendant told the informant that she would kill herself before spending her life in prison, or that she would flee the state with her children.
Prosecutor there referencing the informant, which was really the key to this entire case. But the informant isn't just a random informant. It is the defendant's lover. Let's take a listen to get some more information about what this lover/informant was telling investigators.
Right before the defendant reported Matthew missing, the informant recorded a phone call with the defendant. And rather than playing it here, I just want to summarize some points and what is recorded on that recording. In the phone call, the defendant apologizes for telling the informant about what happened. She tells him to not think of her as a monster and to remember her who she was before she opened her mouth. And the informant tells the defendant that he was frightened by what she had told him. And then the informant, and I quote, says to her, hypothetically, if the roles were reversed and I did something to someone and I told you that I carried it out, like, you would be shocked and scared, wouldn't you? And the defendant responds, quoting, well, not if I deserved it. I always preached that I was like the Queen of Hearts in my past lives because I'm like off with their heads. I'm like, if we could just round up the scum of this earth and put them on an island or just kill them all, I could shipshape this country back into a good place. Now, then, even in that phone call, she starts claiming that this is just a hypothetical situation. However, she tells, and I quote the informant, I think that the fact that you got scared of me, that part, it broke my heart, because I was like, wow, if you think I could even hurt a fly, like he's not a person. He wasn't a person anymore. He wasn't Matt anymore.
Cresha. Cresha. I can't hear you. You're muted. Oh, yeah, I was muted. Thank you. I'm like, yeah, yeah. Oh my God. And I said it good. That's about right. Okay, so Jennifer Gledhill says, allegedly, in this recording that prosecution just talked about, that, and she's from Utah. Okay, so there's that. Her husband, Matt Johnson, was shot. Well, they don't know because they can't find his body. Okay, they then arrested her parents, because of their involvement. They're very much like a Lori like family. Follow her around, it seems, in my opinion, allegedly. Okay, but she says, I mean, his face says it all right here, in my opinion. He's like, what? But just what she said right there, it sent chills down my spine, because Jennifer is like, I'm gonna have to listen to it again and then say that again, because I was freaking muted. I'm gonna have to say it all over again because I don't remember. Okay, here, I'll read what she's saying. Okay. She's talking to her lover, allegedly. Jennifer Gledhill is talking to her lover, and she's saying, this prosecutor right here is reading it. I always preached that I was like the Queen of Hearts, off with their heads. I'm like, if we could just round up the scum of this earth, kill them all, I could shape this country back into a good place. Now then, even that phone call is just a hypothetical situation. However, she tells the informant, I think that the fact that you got like Scott, because I was like, well, I'm sorry, she's reading it. If you could think I was even hurting a fly, he's not a person anymore. She's talking about her husband. This is Charles. This is Matt. She was saying he's not Matt anymore. He's not himself. Like as if he's a zombie, like Ned. It's so eerily similar that I'm gonna rewind it and let her say it, because I just screwed it all up. But a lot of people are like, what? But they've not found his body yet. So, but they have so much evidence on her that right here, just this little hearing to try and keep her in jail without a bond, because she's a danger to, they deem her as a danger to society. They kept her in there, but they have enough evidence on her. Gigi said that they had enough on her right then, that moment, that if they had a jury in there, they could have freaking prosecuted her. You know, it's just interesting. So she's talking to an informant right here, and she's talking about how she hypothetically got rid of her husband. Okay,
He was frightened by what she had told him. And then the informant, and I quote, says to her, hypothetically, if the roles were reversed and I did something to someone and I told you that I carried it out, like, you would be shocked and scared, wouldn't you? And the defendant responds, quoting, well, not if I deserved it. I always preached that I was like the Queen of Hearts in my past lives, because I'm like off with their heads. I'm like, if we could just round up the scum of this earth and put them on an island or just kill them all, I could shape this country back into a good place. Now, then, even in that phone call, she starts claiming that this is just a hypothetical situation. However, she tells, and I quote the informant, I think that the fact that you got scared of me, that part, it broke my heart, because I was like, wow, he's not a person. He wasn't a person anymore. He wasn't Matt anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, first off, even if it's just a hypothetical, she did mention past lives. Was she given this? Where did she get it from? Why do they all think they've lived these fabulous past lives? Okay, as special people, not just somebody who just had a normal life. Okay, what is going on over in the Mormon areas? Okay, I I it's happened so many times now that I don't think this is a ridiculous question to ask. I really don't. It's like, what are they drinking besides the Kool-Aid? This happened with Spring Boudreaux, Spring Thibodeau, not Boudreaux, Spring Thibodeau, in the same ward as Lori Vallow. This happened with this Jennifer Gledhill. Who else did this happen with? Oh, Ruby Frankie, Jody Hildebrandt. Jody Hildebrandt thought she lived past lives too. Guess who else? Hamblin. Hamblin. I'm not playing. You can't make this shit up, y'all. You can't make this shit up. You can't. There's no way. It's beyond me. And for people to just be so dismissive about it is beyond me. It's beyond me, because this is now not just it's a very disturbing pattern. It's a very disturbing freaking pattern. And it's not just limited to Lori and Chad Daybell. It goes way out, way further. Julie Rowe thought she lived past lives. Hello. Right. Oh my God. Y'all, this is crazy. And so what's really going on here? It's nuts. Nuts. Let me finish playing this.
Let's get to the next question in our investigation, and it really focuses on these two and their relationship. What do we know about Jennifer Gledhill's lover, the so-called informant in this case? Still with me, podcast host Gigi McKelvey, and joining me, psychotherapist, author, and host of Talking Live and the Bite Size podcast, Dr. Robbie Ludwig. Dr. Robbie, what did you think of what the suspect, the defendant, was saying in that phone call?
It was pretty scary. Basically, Jennifer was describing her murderous rage that she had towards people she felt were scum. There was no empathy there. It was just she decided somebody didn't have a right to live, and off with their head. So she's basically describing how she sees the world, how she sees herself in relation to other people. And so I would call this an entitled homicide. She felt entitled to kill off people she decided weren't worthy, weren't human, or that she just didn't like. And she's revealing this to this man, the informant, and then worried that she might frighten him, and was worried that someone would see her differently. So she wants to be viewed in a particular way, but her core is so scary. How can that be done? How can the two images live together side by side and not worry somebody? I don't think that's possible.
Exactly.
Gigi, it really seems like this phone call became the deal breaker in this relationship, because when we look at the timing of everything, like, she makes the call before anyone knows he's missing.
Uh-oh. Hold on, my computer's going real slow. Hold on. I might have opened up too many things at once.
Or anything is going on there. But his call to investigators also precedes any of his alleged involvement.
Yes.
Like, they didn't really know about him. He called them. He reached out.
So that's a good question, right? That's a good thing that you bring up here. No more remote viewing. DMT makes you go in past life and makes you feel like a god. I've heard this before. I've watched other things because I'm wanting to understand this a lot more. And we know from Tim Ballard, okay, we know that he was doing ketamine treatments from Tom Harrison, okay? And that's whenever he says that it's the angels or God, it's the way he classifies it during one of his treatments, allegedly, that he puts Tom Harrison in there, like right around the angel status. Okay. And I feel, and I've caught on to the nuances of all this. And it's like they're communicating through this religious talk, but they're doing something else. It's so crazy. It is absolutely fucking crazy. And I feel crazy a lot of times because I'm like, this isn't my crazy. This is their crazy that I'm investigating and I'm researching and I'm trying to learn more about what's really going on here than just religious zealotness. Okay. I think it's more than that. And it sounds weird and it's alarming. Sounds like someone in the news, like Lori. Yeah. If that's who you're talking about. Right? But it seems like she was the first one in legal trouble because of, murderous freaking rampage. Something that they are doing or receiving. I'm going to go a stretch further and say in the temple, perhaps. I don't know because I'm not allowed there. Neither are you unless you are a member of the church and you pay your tithing and you wear your garments and you answer all the questions properly and to their liking, then you can go and you're then a card-toting Mormon. Okay. And I'm just like, that's a secret society all in of itself. If you look at it in certain ways, where you have to be a member to go, you have to be a member to take part in. There's people who were in these temples at the same time as Lori and Chad, all their friends in Rexburg. And I'm like, well, if Tammy was a member too, then wouldn't people from around there in the celestial room see them? And why haven't they said anything? But then you have to remember that the church sent out letters, okay, obstructing justice, in my opinion. Totally pee-peeing and poo-pooing on all of this, okay? Sorry for the whatever, that's not a good analogy, but that's what they did. They stopped people from coming forward because they're like, before you do, it's just a long-standing policy. It's always a damn policy, right? And I'm just like, why would the church do that? There's children missing, 2 of their lambs, so to speak. Why are they not extending their platform of 16, 17 million quote unquote members worldwide where they could help our family find the kids, right? No, none of that. None of that. So, you know what? Call me anti-Mormon, call me what you will. I'm just anti-bullshit. And I'm anti this occurring to anybody, much less my fucking family. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is my family. They stepped on my toes one too many times. So that's where I sit. And I've learned a great deal to back up why I might feel like that, So trust me, I've done more research on them and their religion and this whole thing than they have done, trying to even find out why I may feel this way. You know what I'm saying? Because to them, I'm beneath them, in my opinion. So what's really going on here? Why is this happening? Yeah, that's for sure. I'm just one of the many though. Vice News is where I got it from. The Boy Scouts freaking, I wonder, my computer sounds like it's about to take off. But the Boy Scouts of America thing with Adam Steed. Okay, Adam Steed. So that brought up, okay, in the Vice News article, it was about MJ, the little girl MJ, whose father, Paul, I don't remember his last name all of a sudden. Paul something. And then he worked for, get this, okay? He worked for Homeland Security. Who else worked for Homeland Security? Tim Ballard, okay? But this Paul guy apparently, allegedly had filmed him SAing his own daughters. And then he allegedly confessed all this to a bishop, to his bishop, and this is all in Arizona, to his bishop. His bishop did not call authorities. They kept it inside. The church gloated about this, that they get to keep their clergy. Oh my God, it pisses me off. They get to keep their clergy penitence thing, Ooh, and they gloated about it. When they won the case or whatever, got that shut out. The little girl's name was MJ. I remember this is how I found out about this hotline. This is when Lori was incompetent and she was at an IDHW hospital, okay? And her mental health, whatever, mental, not a coach, but always a trainer or not a trainer. It was the person overseeing Lori, and this Lori alleges in her filing from Mark Means, she alleges that this mental health technician, that's what it is, got her to call and ask for a new attorney, and it's very blurred right there because so much was going on at the same time. Lori calls, she gets on the phone with Daniel McConkey, last name McConkey being like the McConkey law firm that the church uses in-house, allegedly, to screen their phone calls, in my opinion, and what's been reported and shared and uncovered by people like Vice News. And Tom, I think his name is Tom, oh my God, what is his last name? He's the attorney for these Boy Scouts of America, oh, shoot, cases, victims or whatever. Tom Kasnoff. He was on Mormon Stories podcast as well, being interviewed. I remember emailing him, but I don't know what they see, what they don't see. And he might just be too damn busy. Cause I was like, oh my God, Tom Kosnoff knows the church. He's done his research on the church. He's from Houston. And I was like, that's who I need to talk to. I need to talk to him, but I've not, if I did get any response back, I don't know about it. But I mean, that's who I look for, people that I can go to and trust with this stuff, because you can't just go anywhere. You have to go to somebody who has done their research about these people, this stuff, and oh shit. Where did I go? Hold on. Okay, I thought I disappeared from the stream. Sorry. So with that being said, I was about to go pull something up and then that distracted me. So it was crap. Tom Kosnoff. Oh man, that sucks. Man, it was good. It was good. It was good. We needed to watch it or hear it or see it. Let me think. Think. Let me close some of these so it won't freak out if we're going to change freaking screens, right? It's taking a little bit. That might be why it sounds like it's about to take off. Come on, Pooter. Come on. Close the screen. Close it. Oh, AI. Hold on. It's still freaking out. Yeah, Jason's doing better. I mean, he is. It comes and goes. It's so scary. Thank y'all. It says my computer's not responding, but so I can't touch anything or do anything. I don't even know if y'all are hearing me, but let me know. Okay, there. It just okay. Hold on. We're glitching. We're going in and out of the portal. I mean, right? Portal travel, ignite. Right? They told her she could be anything, right? So a lot of people are of the opinion that this is all from Lori and just her being nonsensical and like she's just checked out. I don't think so. That's why she's very much present, and she makes sense in her defending her case, defending herself in court and things, being her own attorney even. Okay. That's why I've always said whenever she was deemed incompetent, I was like, it ain't because she's crazy. She's crazy, but not that kind of crazy. Okay. Yeah, the Catholic Church was exposed, and it's time for the Mormon Church to be exposed for what they are and their abuse of power and covering it up. I can't say that loud enough. Oh, I remember where I was going now. Thank you, Gene P. Let me try and do this without glitching again. I'm just going to try and close another window. Okay. Uh-oh. I'm just trying to alleviate the situation a little bit. I remember though. Okay, did it shut? Allegedly, right? Shut another one. Just bear with me for a second. Thank y'all for doing that. Okay, there it goes. There it goes. All right. It let me through again. She used of occult fortune tellers and used of occult fortune tellers. They are getting revelations, but not from Jesus. That's it. I'm telling you. Hell, the dang bishop even said Lori seemed lucid, right? Say it again. I've also studied different doctrines, and cult-like ordinances are not of God. No one is to be yoked, period. Thank you. I see you all over the place, Caroline. I know you've been doing your research. Yeah, not from Jesus, for sure. Colby said that even. He was like, oh, I believe she is talking to somebody, an angel of light, perhaps, maybe the same one that deceived Joseph Smith, in my opinion. But it's not Jesus, okay? So, yeah, apparently, because I know that the Jesus that I was, that I know or whatever is not like kill people, okay? No. So it's like, but she stands by that shit, It's very freaking scary. It is very eerie, to say the least. Okay, let me try and do this again. All right, let me go and search real quick. Because this is what I was going to show you guys. I found somebody, and I actually reached out to them, and they reached out. Actually, I have an interview tomorrow too with an investigative journalist. I'm so happy I found somebody that has been studying the Hamblin case, but is coming to the same conclusions as I am, but without, she didn't know me. And, it's kind of validating to see a whole different person that's not Mormon, that has nothing to do with any of this, and her research into, the Hamblin situation, that I believe this is a part of, a continuation of, how she's coming to the same conclusions as I have. That is so validating. Just it is. It so is. So I'm gonna pull that up. Not her, but I reached out to another one. I'm looking for that channel right now. Hold on just one second. This is crazy, y'all. That shit crazy. Okay, I found the channel. I'm just looking for the video. I watched a bunch of them. And I feel guilty because he's someone that I've seen over the years. I just, his channel never had many views. And I was just like, I don't know. And so I feel guilty about that, but they do stream and upload to many different sources, and it ain't about that. I'm not about the many. I'm not with majority usually anyway. So I'm usually more way over here on the other side of everybody. And I know it's very annoying. I hate it. I'm not special. I see it differently. Where'd it go? Okay. Hold on. I've watched a lot of videos, so I gotta go. And then I had one TV in my living room. It was just on YouTube. and it would just scroll to the next one. Let me do this. Okay. Let me push this and let me get to the channel. Oh, yeah. Okay. I was like, no, not Vinny, but he shared it on there. Okay. Let me get to this. All right. Now, let me go to Lori Vallow Daybell. Let me share my screen again, right? Okay. All right. Get with the program. Get with the program, Crush. Get with the program. It would be right here. It's Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi. And so not many people who talk about the Mormon religion quite describe it the way my experience has gone. And so that's where I'm like, oh my God, this is about the most accurate I have come across thus far. Okay. And it's just interesting to me. And of course, validating, right? So let me see. Let me get to the right video. Breaking down the beliefs of, see, I haven't seen this one yet. See, I mean, there's not many views here. Not for as much as he puts out there, and it's very accurate. It's good reporting, in my opinion. Let's see. I will be exonerated. How do you get inside the mind of a delusional believer like Lori Daybell? Let's see. I think I'm gonna click on one I've not seen yet, and that way we can kind of go over it. But I mean, just the way he explains it is pretty accurate.
This is Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi. Here now, Tony Bruschi.
Look at that.
Welcome back as we continue to try and break down an understanding of what the hell it actually was that Chad and Lori Daybell were believing. This is a fourth part in our series. If you're just jumping in on this one, I highly suggest going back to part 1, then 2, then 3, and going chronologically through it so you get a full grasp of what the hell it is they were.
Let me grab this link,
because it all works together. Okay. Be sure to press subscribe wherever you're downloading podcasts so you don't miss any of these stories and updates on this case, because we're going to be covering, of course, Lori's upcoming trial in great detail. And if you're on YouTube, do it as well. Press subscribe there because we are covering this stuff all the time. We put out tons of videos every single day. If you're interested in this topic, hit subscribe. You will not regret it. So let's go into our last and final chapter, trying to piece together the madness that is Chad and Lori Vallow Daybell. For Chad and Lori, reality was the enemy. As long as they could control the narrative, as long as they surrounded themselves with believers, as long as they avoided looking too closely at the trail of destruction that they had left behind, their vision of the world stayed intact. But reality doesn't wait forever. And when it finally came for them, their entire belief system collapsed like a house of cards. It started with the biggest problem of all in July of 2020. For years, Chad had spoken about the date with certainty, the end of the world. It was the moment everything would change, the moment the world would be transformed, the moment the righteous would rise and the wicked would be cast down, and everyone would go to Rexburg. Yes, that's literally part of it. You would go to Rexburg. And that's where you were going to be saved. That's where everything was going to be great. Okay. Him and Lori, king and queen. Yeah. And then nothing happened. And nobody went to Rexburg.
Amen.
The world kept turning. Society did not collapse. There was no apocalyptic firestorm, no second coming, no divine confirmation that Chad had been right all along. And while most failed doomsday prophets just quietly revised their timeline and move on, Chad had a bigger problem. He and Lori were already being hunted. Yes, hunted.
I just like the way
the disappearances, the deaths, the bizarre behavior, it all piled up. Law enforcement had started pulling at loose ends. And the deeper they dug, the more it became clear that Chad and Lori weren't just harmless religious fanatics. They were something far worse. They were serial killers. And the media caught on next. What started as local reports about missing children turned into national headlines. Reporters were digging into Lori's past, her marriages, the people in her life who had turned up dead. Every time a new piece of information surfaced, the story became more horrifying. But Lori didn't seem to care. It's like a honey badger. Lori don't care. She walked through all of it like nothing was wrong, smiling, laughing, sunbathing in Hawaii, while the world demanded to know where her children were. Even when police were circling closer, she acted like she had already won. The kind of confidence only works when the walls close in completely. In February of 2020, Lori was arrested in Hawaii. The charge, desertion and non-support of her children. And she refused to tell anyone where Tylee and JJ were. She sat in jail, smirking, confident that she was untouchable. She knew better. She knew more than these silly police officers. And then in June of 2020, investigators found the graves.
Oh, thank you.
In Chad's backyard, 2 small bodies, shallow graves. Proof that Chad and Lori's so-called divine mission was nothing more than a brutal, horrific lie. That came along with a lot of insurance.
Jennifer Gledhill's too. Crazy.
Chad was arrested the same day the bodies were found, and just like that, his prophecies, his godlike status, his entire delusion was shattered. Because a true prophet doesn't end up in an orange jumpsuit chained to a courtroom chair. Or does he?
Oh my gosh. Let us
The goddess
know.
doesn't
Watch.
rot in jail waiting for a trial. Or does she? In the
I
minds of
have
Chad and
Benny's
Lori,
phone number, actually.
it was just their path.
I just
Path that they were going to be persecuted for. The moment they were in
yeah, somebody gave me Vinny's phone number, but they were like, don't let them know that it was me that gave it to you. So I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to just like be like, hey, got slide into his text messages like some psycho like my aunt here, you know? So I mean, right? I would love to give them a different narrative than what's being spit out there by Mike King and Rex Connor and Adam Cox. I believe not saying that their opinions don't matter. I believe they do, but just perhaps a different opinion. That's all. Different experience that I've had for sure. Okay, let me continue this. But he was talking about Joseph Smith and all kinds of stuff in the other ones. And I mean, it was interesting, but that, that's just me. Please, give him a like and a follow. Look. Okay, good. No more remote viewing. It was already over there saying, can't wait to listen to your content. That's awesome. Thank you. I'm gonna like it. Okay. I need to like this too. But yeah, so like this episode follows the unraveling of their belief system from the moment their July 2020 doomsday prediction never came true to the mounting pressure from law enforcement and national media. Lori's chilling lack of emotion after her children disappeared and her refusal to cooperate with investigators only fueled the fire. Chad, once seen as a spiritual leader, suddenly found himself a fugitive, his so-called prophetic status crumbling under legal scrutiny. Through court testimonies, expert breakdowns, and official LDS responses, we explore how justice was finally served. Chad and Lori's religious justifications were torn apart in court, and their former followers turned against them. The trial exposed the full extent of their manipulation, their self-serving doctrine, and the horrifying reality of what they had done in the name of their so-called divine mission. This wasn't just a story about crime. It was a case study in radicalization, cult psychology, and the dangers of unchecked beliefs. Amen to that. I mean,
in handcuffs, they were no longer untouchable. The same people who had once worshipped them, who had believed their every word, started having second thoughts and turning away. Because the kid's dying and the spouse is dying, that wasn't enough. It took the police intervention for them to go, maybe they weren't who they said they were. And for the first time in years, they were no longer in control. Reality had won. And Chad and Lori had nowhere left to run. Courtrooms aren't built for gods.
That would be awesome.
Chad and Lori had spent years believing they were untouchable, divinely chosen above human law. But when the trial began, it became clear they weren't special.
I don't know.
They were defendants.
Nancy's crazy.
And in a court of law, there were no portals, no visions, no spirit rankings to save them.
It's a lovely.
There were only facts, cold, brutal, undeniable facts. The prosecution didn't need to spin a theory. They didn't need to convince anyone that Chad and Lori were fanatics. They had evidence. They had text messages between Chad and Lori, casually discussing their plans as if they were picking out new furniture instead of deciding who needed to die. They had financial records showing how Lori had immediately tried to cash in on Charles Vallow's life insurance, only to realize too late that she wasn't the beneficiary. She had witnessed testimonies from people who had once trusted Charles and Lori, people who had believed in their so-called spiritual gifts until the bodies started piling up, one after another. Former followers took the stand. Some of them still looked shaken, as if they were only just realizing how deeply they had fallen into the delusion. I think some still thought that they were who they said they were. In fact, some even testified to it.
Pretty accurate, I think.
That Chad had these prophetic images, that he had these divine moments. That couldn't be denied. They spoke about how Chad had ranked people's souls, decided who was light and who was dark, how Lori had talked about her children's death like they were preordained, not a crime, not a tragedy, just, part of the plan. And then there were the zombie doctrine pieces laid bare for the jury. Jurors listened as witnesses described how Chad and Lori truly believed that a person's soul could be ejected from their body and replaced by a dark entity. It was the perfect justification. If someone was no longer truly themselves, then their body meant nothing. But in court, stripped of its spiritual grandeur, the belief sounded exactly like what it was: delusional, insane, and deeply horrifyingly convenient. Lori's defense team tried to paint her as mentally unfit, detached from reality. And for a while it worked. She was declared incompetent to stand trial, sent for mental health treatment. But after months of evaluations, the conclusion was pretty clear. She wasn't legally insane. She wasn't suffering from a psychotic break. She knew what she was doing all along. And that meant she could be held accountable. The jury saw through the religious facade. Although I don't know if Lori saw through her own religious facade. I think she believes it. They saw beyond the talk of prophecies and divine missions on a we're dealing with reality on reality's terms type of thing. They saw what was really there. Two people who had built an entire belief system around their own desires, their own egos, their own willingness to eliminate anyone who got in their way. And when the verdict came down, it was final. Lori Vallow guilty on all counts. Chad Daybell, awaiting trial at the time, but the evidence against him was undeniable. The so-called prophet and goddess were nothing more than convicted murderers sentenced to life.
Triple.
And sentenced to live the rest of their lives exactly as what they were. Ordinary criminals, stripped of their illusion, stripped of their power, and most painfully of all, stripped of their audience. Because the one thing about gods is they only exist as long as people believe in them. Although, wouldn't you like to know what's going on behind bars?
26,000 views. Good Lord.
Wonder what's going on there. Wonder if there's a little following going on there.
There's something going on. Okay, Tony? And I can't wait. I can't wait to talk to you. So he did respond. And so I just have to respond again. And that way we can set up whenever we can chat about our lovely doomsday couple. Right. So this is the investigative journalist that I ran across. She's from New York, and she's makes this so much easier to digest. Okay. So I do have an interview with her tomorrow. I contacted her. I contacted Tony, people don't really know about me. It's weird. Huh?
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Pop Crime TV's The
That's a good
Outlier
example.
podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Conlon, and this is part 8 of my coverage into the ritualistic abuse scandal in Utah and the alleged crimes of David Lee Hamblin. As you can see, I am doing things a little bit differently. You can see my face. I'm trying to make this podcast a bit more interactive. Now, with that being said, I will ask for just a little bit of grace as I have a script that I am reading off of because there is just so much information and I want to make sure that I am accurate when I am reporting it to all of you.
Very.
So I will be looking at my script, looking at you. And again, I ask for a little bit of forgiveness and a little bit of grace.
Yeah, sometimes.
All right, let's get started now that we've gotten that out of the way. Let's get to some housekeeping items. There is a hearing for David Lee Hamblin on Wednesday, March 5th. And this is pertaining to the continuance that was granted in the Manti Sanpete case with survivor TS.
Yes.
Now, as you'll recall, sadly, the American Fork case with survivor ES was dismissed. And we still don't know if that case was dismissed with or without prejudice. I keep refreshing the Utah exchange, and there has been no decision from the judge just yet.
I mean, she just recently, let me go back to her channel. She just recently did one where she had an expert come on. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I need an investigative journalist who will actually pay attention to me, and not just be like, okay, because the crap that I've been uncovering is so disturbing. I don't know what to do with it. Obviously, right? I share it here as best as I can, but I'm not a professional for sure. I don't even think I've been able to grieve yet. I really don't. I've been so busy with this, and then I uncovered more than I ever planned to or wanted to. And like when I talked to Lauren the other day, Lauren Conlon with Pop Crime TV, I was like, the stuff that I've uncovered is like, it's so conspiratorial in the sense that of what mainstream entertains. Okay, they don't entertain all this, like Tim Ballard being backed by Carlos Slim, the richest man in the world, not America and not Mexico, not any other freaking continent, the world. Okay, we're talking about Diddy type backing here. Okay, it's so disturbing because I don't know what to do with it. But then she's like, I got this, and that's what I need. I'm not an expert. Okay. But I can share my experience, what I've uncovered, just through this research, just trying to get to the bottom of it, like I don't believe it's just Lori and Chad. I never have. And my research it shows that, and then you have the other case of Jody and Ruby. That was a surprise. I didn't know anything about them, but yet here they are reading Tom Harrison's book, Visions of Glory, freaking having past lives and shit, abusing children. I mean, and Mormon. I mean, what are the odds, How does Jennifer Gledhill fit into this? How does, Tim Ballard fit into this? I believe Chad and Lori were actually part of the same movement anyways of Tim. So Tim was given a priesthood blessing or 2 or 5 or however many by Ken Krogh and Gordon Bowen. Not Gordon Bowen. By Ken Krogh and Tom Harrison, Visions of Glory author. Okay. And they prophesied through this fortune telling type of priesthood blessing, where they're telling Tim that he is going to be the future prophet of the Mormon Church and the future president of the United States. Okay, that's pretty. That's that thing I never found on Chad. Okay, I never found a priesthood blessing anointing Chad as a future prophet and or president. So y'all need to worry. Okay, if Tim Ballard is prophesied to be the future president, in my opinion, because then it affects all of us. Okay, that I'm just saying. Welcome to Pop Crime TV, your go-to source for all the things true crime and pop culture. We share celebrity crime stories, true crime related interviews and shorts, and the occasional celebrity interview. Our reporting has been featured on Fox News, Court TV, News Nation, and Crime Stories with Nancy Grace. We provide fresh videos and live streams on a weekly basis. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell icon to stay updated. Check out our latest series playlist on the Menendez brothers and Diddy, and follow us on all channels, keeping Peep and Linktree for more exclusive content. Check out our bi-weekly audio podcast as well, The Outlier, wherever you listen to audio podcasts. So I shared this in the chat and I posted it on the little banner right here. I think I wrote the name wrong. Pop crime is one word. It's just interesting, y'all. It's just, I feel relieved to know that I'm not the only one seeing this stuff. And that's also sad too. You know, it should be outed and exposed by now. I mean, Uncle Charles was murdered July 11th, 2019, and it's the year 2025 now. Okay, I'm not going to try and get knocked down, but it should have been way more out by now. That's very sad because, oh my God, we've been through 2 trials already. 2 whole trials already, and mainstream is just like like nobody, it's like nothing to see here. This is the far more dark and far more disturbing dream that I had, whatever, that my Uncle Charles told me in my dream, that I would uncover something far more dark and far more sinister. It's not even easy to say. But this is what it is. And it's like, hello, this needs to be outed. This needs to be, let the sun in and let it be aired out, An Eastchester group followed the Mayan calendar. Calendar was the code word. Kids were sacrificed. Oh my God. That's what I'm saying. Because they all talk about angels. They all talk about, there's like different subgroups of angels. And it's like, I don't know, because I sound crazy when I say it, like, it's like Janet Russin giving Tim Ballard his, whatever the hell she was doing, scrying, I'm sorry, it wasn't even just Tim Ballard's psychic. It was M. Russell Ballard's psychic, freaking apostle in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints that passed away November 12th, 2023. I'll never forget it. It was like, no, not that guy. And I don't know if Megan ever came out with her Disney episode yet. That guy who went on a double date with Lori and Alex. That's so wild. Randy, I think his name is. And he worked as an investigator for Disney. I want to know because I remember Lynn Packer reporting on M. Russell Ballard's involvement with, his name was, oh my gosh, Art Linkletter and Bob Hope. And I'm like, And I remember reading some Disney stuff in the conspiracy zone, about just how these things all spill into the other. And they brought up Art Linkletter, and I was like, holy shit. Yeah. Yes, way. Okay, it's all connected. So conspiratorial or not, I'm going. I am. It's out. Haven't watched yet. Okay, so that is something we need to do. Anybody who's here and, in the community and they know what I'm doing here, what we're doing here, what we're trying to uncover, go with that in mind, please. I don't have the specific thing pulled up for Lynn Packer's reporting on M. Russell Ballard and his early involvement. It's just like this. It's like, okay, Lynn Packer also reported that M. Russell Ballard had invested in the e-meter, which is what Scientologists use on the cans to see if you're a whatever person, repressed person or whatever. Okay. And yet they also used it in the energy healing world, you know, the same thing that the freaking apostle of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints invested in. This is one of his deals, okay? He invested in this e-meter that would also register. It's kind of like body emotion code. It's basically like what's his face? Bradley Nelson, Dr. Bradley Nelson, the chiropractor who was like, God told me, you know, and Tony Robbins freaking forwarded his book. Okay. Are y'all starting to catch on? Okay, it's crazy. It's crazy. But yet there's this apostle in the freaking church that has this machine, okay, where you can measure basically what percentage of light one might have. One could say, in my opinion, it looks a lot like that. So there's that. I'm gonna leave that there, and the rest is up to you guys. You know, the rest is up to us to finish bringing this full circle, because I think it's important. I do. I think it's the only thing that brings justice to the victims who died because of this belief system, when I don't think it's that at all. So Zero says, okay, back. An early wiki game was about Mayan moms and missing kids. What? The clan group was means of communication for buying kids. There you go. That tracks. That tracks. Because again, we've heard from Tim Ballard accusers. They allege that the anti-traffickers are the traffickers. And I'm like, right, you're saying, and you're accusing them of doing exactly what the hell we all think. Okay. So, you know, David Levitt is just another leg of this. David Hamblin is just, they're all part of the same little group that have infiltrated the church, that have been, I believe that's who Bishop Glenn Pace wrote about. I believe some of the alleged victims from the Hamblin case went to Bishop Glenn Pace, and that came out back in 91. Okay. And I'm just now reading about it, you know, because my aunt murdered my husband, and murdered her husband, my uncle, and her kids. And here we are, 2019. And I'm just now finding out about it through this process, right? I wouldn't have had a reason to go look for it before, is all I'm saying. And so that makes a lot of sense. Really, it does, in my opinion. Yep. I've seen this before. I've seen this kind of stuff before, but a lot of people are like, that's QAnon. And I'm like, what? You know, I'm like, this is reality. This is reality, y'all. You know, oh, not to mention that, okay, Chad Daybell and his brothers were grave diggers. Okay, that's not odd. That's not weird, right? Right? Okay. But then I have this lady that tells Sue Ellen in Arizona that, yeah, if this trial starts on my birthday, all heck is going to break loose. Wayne and I will be at the lake, but you know I'm going to give my 2 cents. You better. You better. Right? That's what KJ said. So, oh crap, I shouldn't have done that. What was I going to say? Oh, the other thing that I found eerie, I was going to look for some more stock footage or whatever so I could use it in my Glenn Pace memo stuff, the video that I just shared. Anyways, so I found his obituary, and I was like, okay, watch. I'm gonna show you. I can show you. I'd be better at showing you than just telling you about it. Let me Google it real quick. Bishop Glenn L. Pace. Whoa. I didn't look for his obituary, but it brought me there. Hold on. Let me switch to here. So this is what pulls up. Okay. Let me make sure you can see it. Yeah, you can. Okay. So it brings up these kind of things, talks that he's done. And I'm like, oh, look, there I am. Wow. 4 days ago, Glenn L. Pace was a presiding bishop in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This means he held a high-ranking position, and he was tasked to go and conduct these investigations. Well, anyways, so why is it only doing videos? I must have it already selected. Yep, I do. Okay, let's try this again. So this is what pulls up, and you'll notice that the church does not really talk about the Glenn Pace memo aspect of things. Again, interesting. Look right here. And I was like, I already know that there's Meldrum, Rod Meldrum, as in like Rod Meldrum, you know, who is the owner of the Firm Foundation, the Firm Expo, where Chad would go talk, or actually was preparing people. But there's also the Levitts that own a funeral home and crematorium services. You have the alleged punisher for in the Hamlin case that the girls accused, the Hamlin daughters accuse Joe Binion, who has a kiln, Kiln, you know, those things that heat up. Anyways, to do ceramic and pottery. And then you have the flippin' Russin brothers. I was like, Janet Russin, you know, like, what are the odds that this is a funeral home, a mortuary and crematory? I mean, I was like, I about flipped my wig when I saw that. And I was like, no, you can't have like 4 different freaking families or last names that are part of this crap. You can't have that many all be dabbling in the crematorium business right here with the mortuaries. Come on, y'all. And grave diggers, get out of here. Get out of here. Right? Bullshit. Y'all, this is nuts. It's wild. It's nuts. And you had to witness it, right? I'm telling you. Anyways, 12 Apostle Tribe. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But anyways, you will get to meet Kresha Awesome. Who? Oh, yeah. Beach Bum. Yeah. Yup, right? I know. My ears are getting hot. Time to go take the blood pressure medicine. This hooker makes your blood pressure go up. Not really. Just it comes with the territory nowadays, right? They were remote viewing with the toilets, and the doctor was a gastroenterologist. He was the higher echelon of this casting cult. But Chad is the prophet and said the doctor has done good infiltration. What? What is that all about? Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay, I'm kind of lost. I'm going back. What you're saying is interesting, is all I'm saying. But I want to make sure I got it from the beginning. Okay, hold on. That's the first one. They were remote viewing with toilet. We just found out what the toilet meant, right? Whatever show I was watching, they were like, the toilet was used as like for communicating with freaking whatever. Anyway, I thought it was a joke. Apparently I'm wrong. I don't know. But then remember how I think it was Lauren that reported that Tom, or it was on Mormon Stories podcast when they all corroborated. And it was about how Tom Harrison would excuse himself all the time to go to the bathroom. And I was like, is it because it's a portal? Anyways, oh my God. They were remote viewing with toilet. And I think Lori Daybell didn't like this. So that's why she wanted Chad to CRV on the doctor for gastro. And who's the doctor for gastroenterologist, whatever, gastroenterologist. And then I know I missed something too. And then they say no more remote viewing, says they were remote viewing with the toilets and the doctor was a gastroenterologist. He was the higher echelon of this casting cult, but Chad is the prophet and said the doctor has done good infiltration. I'm confused. I just think they were, oh God, my head hurts. I just think they were with the toilets because the higher echelon was a doctor gastroenterologist. I can't say that right. The guy from the UK was like Tony Robbins, and he did a lot of mountain climbing. Oh, Dr. Stroud. Mike Stroud. When I Googled Mike Stroud a long time ago, it came up as this other doctor, Mike Stroud, that he's talking about, or this person's talking about right here. And yeah, but he looks just like him. He looked just like him. It was very confusing. Very, very, very confusing. Because I was like, what? How does Mike Stroud look like the Mike Stroud, the LDS Mike Stroud that was the teacher for, let me pull it up. I did pull it up. I'm gonna do this real quick and then we got to get out of here, right? But yeah, let me, it looks a lot like Mike Stroud. Look, Professor Mike Stroud. Just saying, it was a little too eerie for me. Look. Okay. And if you know what Mike Stroud looks like, look at this. Look at that. Look at this. Huh? The fudge did we uncover? This is weird shit. What did it say? Antarctica too? Remember how Lori said she was going to fold up a Satan taco? Satan up like a taco? Oh my God. Hold on. I'm freaking out right now. There was a video of him talking. Here it is. Let's see. Oop. Wait, what did I just say? Remote trauma, Dr. Mike Stroud. Let me make sure I have my volume up.
I mean, I think if there's a group of you, so you can really need for help, then it's of great value. Van and I did a lot of things where there were just the two of us, and to be honest, I think achieving much with one untrained person.
I don't think so. Maybe not.
These guys.
Well, it's weird. It's weird.
Someone could be injured, and there's no reason at all why.
I'm gonna try and pull up a picture of
Mike know what they're trying to aim for, that you can't get something.
Okay, so there's that one, but let's go back. Okay, now let me drop the doctor, and let's just try and get LDS Mike Stroud images. Because I was like, wait, I have this saved in my phone, like straight up. You can go look at my library, and yeah, there's a magician too. Let me put LDS in there so we can see who Jason Miles. There he is. Okay, I'm sorry. There's a great resemblance here. Just throwing that in there. There's Margie and Mike Stroud. Margie and Mike Stroud. This was reported on by Wheat and Tears of Mike Stroud. Okay. Here's the other one that y'all need to be aware of. We've not had a lot of time allotted to him, but just as dangerous in my opinion. That's Avraham Giuliani. They need to be exposed for the freaking, not just, charlatans that they are, but there's more going on here. That's what I'm saying. So anyways, this is freaking weird. It just, yeah, I had, what's her face? Michelle McDermott. She's from Arizona. She shares all this stuff. Actually, ALF stood for something I saw the other day that was really weird too. Anyways. Yeah. Excommunication. Dwayne Crowther, y'all, I believe lived by Chad Daybell. I believe that's Girl on Fire's father-in-law. Do believe. Not sure though. Don't quote me on that. A Time of Reflection, Part 5. Denver Snuffer excommunicated. Snuffer Reader excommunicated. Max Skousen excommunicated. For Priestcraft, Visions of Glory in the Last Days. They weren't excommunicated because that would be freaking. It's just like Adam. He's saying that these people that were excommunicated, doing this preparing, he says the people, but it's preparing a people. I want to get it right, say it right. Nobody says it right, I swear. And I'm like, it's preparing a people. He was like, they're excommunicated members, but they were not excommunicated. Okay, so please know that. Please know, and let any other active Latter-day Saint know that these people were not, at least Nancy and Mike James were not excommunicated at all. Neither has any of these castings people, these women, these witches. Okay. Hey, Salty Sleuth investigator. I know we're on here forever. I know. So I guess I'll schedule another live stream and we can have Joe Schmo and Trace come on. That's was hoping they could join us, but that's not, happen. And I'm not a dictator of their lives. So, I mean, I get it. We'll catch them later, but if I do have a live stream later on, and I'm going to go and be on Joe Schmo's channel as well this afternoon, because it's see you next Tuesdays with Joe Schmo and me. So we're just going more into the Glenn Pace memo, and he kind of keeps me in line. So, right. Yeah. So see Janelle Murphy right here is reiterating no Mike and Nancy James, preparing of people, Latter-day Media people are not excommunicated. I can tell you that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Their names were actually mentioned in Chad's trial, where didn't Mike or maybe think that Nancy was dark, right? Am I right? Or was it something along those lines? They may have been excommunicated, but the church members will never call the police, right? Yeah, I got you. Catch you on his channel. Thank you. Yeah. See y'all later there. And if I do schedule a live stream with Joe Schmo and Trace to talk about today's hearing, would y'all want to come back for that? I do that too. I get on the wrong little pattern here. Yeah, I do that too on my keyboard all the time. I'm not quick on the keyboard. But anyways, thank y'all for being here. And thank you for everyone who contributed, was able to, share like this, becoming a member, sharing memberships, and, your donations will help me get there and maybe stay there. Okay. So that's always helpful. And I appreciate you. You never have to give. Don't ever expect anybody to give, but it does help. And so thank you to those who have and do. But also thank you I didn't mean to push that. Thank you everyone who's been here and just been part of the conversation. This is the best community on this side of heaven. Okay. So I appreciate all of you. And, this always goes back to what this is about. And this is about Charles, Tylee, Tammy, JJ, and Joe. Okay. They are the victims of this and these people. And that's what this is all about. Okay. Right at the center, right back to center. See them right there. Okay. That's what this is about and who it's for, and for Brandon. So justice for Tylee, Charles, Tammy, JJ, and Joe. Love always wins. And you are proof of that. Thank y'all so much.